All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Appathon at HCC, presented by Houston Community College, our collaboration between the Center of Excellence for Digital and Information Technology and Southwest Center for Entrepreneurship. We're so glad that everyone's joining us this morning from three different countries, from the United States and beyond. And we're so proud of all of you for making your Saturdays available to join us for an important cause, for us to solve a problem for our community wellness during this COVID-19 pandemic. Our hackathon is in is to encourage everyone to learn about being a change maker. This hackathon will be using the fast-paced hackathon methodology to solve a problem that we care about, to empower our students with some skills, get them to learn some new collaboration tools, and for them to showcase their ideas amongst one another and to a panel of judges for a chance to win some cash all in the same day. So, folks, we are now moving into the inspiration part of our hackathon. So we started this morning at 9 a.m. We went through an orientation. We went through to make sure everybody knew, where all the tools are and how to use them. And now we want to inspire them in a way that they know that they can be a change maker. So I'm going to share this quick video here of why this is important and how our students could be a change maker.
Everybody can be a change maker. Here's what you can do to move the world. First, be inspired. What do you care about? Think about what you want to improve for. Second, get informed. Your story is stronger when you know what you're talking about. This helps to convince others to join. Third, discover your talent. Are you a great chef? Set up a bake sale to raise money. Good with words? Organize a debate to raise awareness. Use your talents to get what you want. Fourth, be brave and act. With information and talent, you can make a plan. Think about the steps needed to make an impact and go. Fifth, mobilize. More people can make a bigger impact. Look around you and find the right people that can help. Use your voice to get the word out there.
I am a change maker.
I'm a change maker.
And I am a change maker.
Everybody can be a change maker.
So everybody can be a change maker. And here, through our hackathon process, we want to introduce to them some new skills to get them to know about global issues that matter to everyone and how we can empower one another to solve our own problems. So with that, I want to share the hackathon process just for the audience. So we are starting with an inspiration. So for inspiration this morning, we've got our keynote speaker who'll be joining us a little bit. We're going to do a welcome from our college president, our college dean, and after the inspiration part, we're going to move into instruction where we'll teach some skills to the participants. We're going to teach them concepts and so forth. After that, we'll announce the challenge that they have to go and make. Once they make, we're going to ask them to submit everything that they create within the short amount of 3 hours for a community showcase, after which we'll show each entry that came in. After that, we'll take the top ideas that are selected by the committee to show in front of a panel of judges. And after the judges rate the top ideas, we'll do an award ceremony and wrap it up. And then we'll host this again next semester and continue the process.
On behalf of Houston Community College and our president, Dr. Burillo, we welcome you to the beautiful Houston Community College Appathon. For taking time to participate on a beautiful Saturday today. And with that being in mind, I wanted to give you some encouraging news for all of you that are interested in building apps. Worldwide, we have over 2.7 billion smartphone users. And when you factor in the 1.3 billion tablet users worldwide, it's doubled in the past 6 years. And when you start looking at some of the statistics in regards to both Android app users, the Apple App Store has 2.2 million apps available for download. And for the Google Play Store, we're at 2.8 million apps within inside their store. The average smartphone owner uses 30 apps each month, and mobile apps are expected to generate 189 billion by 2020. With this being said, I want you to stay creative and know that your hard work and what you're doing in today's challenge can lead to an amazing, life-changing application and lead to endless possibilities for an amazing career app development. If you're interested in taking additional courses in mobile application development, feel free to reach out to us. The instructors you're working with today are also our faculty that are going to be teaching our programming courses. So with that being said, Ravi, thank you so much for you and the rest of the team for putting this together. And I'm really excited to be part of the judging panel today.
Sean, we're always so glad we have great administrators like you who empower, enable our students to take part in these type of outside the class activities. I want to remind everybody we are all volunteers who are going to be participating today. We're not asking anyone to be here because they're worried about a paycheck. We're here because we want to be here, that we care enough to put on an event like this, and that only happens when we have trust with our administrators. And Sean, you're one of the most trustworthy persons I know, so I appreciate you bringing all of us together here. I've got Samir, Saber, what I like to say partner in crime, but we're not really committing any crimes, are we? So, Samir, share your remarks with us, please.
Hopefully we'll be solving crimes or problems today. That's the goal, right? Thanks, Ravi. Just really, really glad to be here. I'm happy we're hosting this first event between our DIT COE, as you heard, and Ravi's group, the Center for Student Innovation and Entrepreneurship. It's right now, especially during COVID, everyone's trying to figure out, what are ways we can do to help the community. And I could just tell you, there's just so much going on the digital front, and you guys know this. The IT industry is booming. There's more need to create solutions, especially with this remote work and all that. So I'm just happy to see so many students interested in having that kind of entrepreneurial mindset, because I can tell you that in any team that you're on, anyone that thinks in a bigger picture or, to solve problems and work as a team and leverage different skill sets, those are the ones that can adapt and work in any environment. So your small projects, your small Appathons, your creations like that, they go a long way because you learn from every experience. So, use today as a good way to network, to meet people, yeah, just good luck with everything. And I have a few other things I want to mention. So, getting involved, such as today, I just want to mention we have a lot of other student clubs that you might be interested in or you're part of, including a Computer Science Association club. We have a Women in IT, we have cybersecurity, we have visual effects and motion graphics, 3D printing club, photography, graphic design. So a lot of clubs for ways to get involved, because that's the thing, is just like today, it's about networking, it's about seeing opportunities that you have out there. Houston is just, in my opinion, the best city for networking and being part of different projects and different industries. There's something for everyone. So again, just welcome and happy to be here, and good luck today.
Awesome. And then Samir, one other thing is everyone who filled out that HCC CE form goes to his office, and that actually makes you an honorary HCC student. So welcome. You are now an eagle, which is our school mascot. You are now an HCC student. So if some of you are joining from other countries, welcome. You are now part of our Eagle community. So thank you to Samir for making that available. Again, I'll remind everybody for taking part in the Appathon, you are getting a continuing education credit. So if you filled, you registered, and as mentioned in the orientation, this will help get you a transcript with the college for non-continuing education.
And
All
we
right,
will
so
we will send a digital certificate as well, so that you can a certificate of completion for participation, maybe even for the winner. So we haven't mentioned that yet, but that's something you can use, put on your resume if you need to show proof. Okay.
awesome. So just for being here, lots of incentives. All right, folks. So let's also quickly go around and thank the instructional team who will be teaching you later after the inspiration. And then the core team includes Fidelis, Samir, me, and Sean. Appreciate the team for doing this. So do we have the instructional team able to kind of just welcome the participants?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Hermann. I'm the department chair for digital communications and digital gaming and simulation. And I'll be speaking today about the planning aspect and empathy in regards to app development.
Hi, I'm Anci. Welcome, everyone. And I am the programming chair in digital information and technology. And I am going to be speaking on actually putting everything you've planned out into a prototype.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I'm a faculty member for computer programming. And I'm teaching Swift and iOS programming. So today I'm just work behind the scene to help the event. Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not on camera. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's a long story why I can get a camera, but I want to welcome everybody, particularly the participants, Ravi and Samir. And putting this together, amazing job on the good leadership of Sean. But I want to tell you this: the instructional team, the people that just went through introductions and you're looking at the screen, you are in good hands, right? You generally speaking, you're dealing with HCC. What else can I say? You're in good hands all around. I'm excited. I'm happy to be part of this, and welcome everybody. And good luck with your participants. Come up with something amazing.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Shilpa Phanse, and I will be one of the instructors talking about Brainstorm. I'm just saying that it's awesome that you all are here, and welcome, and wish you all the best.
All right, so we'll keep going. I've got a short video to dedicate this hackathon, our first ever virtual Appathon, to Dr. Douglas Bump. He was a former HCC faculty who passed away March 27, 2020, and he was one of the faculty members that truly cared about teaching developmental math to students. He cared so much that he wanted to make it accessible to people, and so much so that he actually enrolled at HCC's design and coding school to teach as well as learn how to make apps. So I've got Dr. Douglas's wife here. If we can have Dr. Bump share with us a little bit about Douglas's Bump, his passion for making apps, and how we remember him on the value of creating that app. Dr. Bump?
Yes, Doug would have been so excited to be here today and to be learning with you. He loved to inspire and mentor and teach. He loved math and he loved music, but most of all, he loved his students. He was working on getting everything ready to go online right before he died. He loved learning new things and then sharing those new things with everyone around him. We would go out to eat and he would talk to the waiters and waitresses, are you in college? And, just encourage everybody to be learners. And he was so excited when he first got his apps on the iPad. And then he was discouraged when he couldn't use that easier software and he had to go learn a different language. But he kept learning all these languages. And then finally, a couple of them worked out, and then he got connected with y'all, and he was just so excited about all this. And I just really wish he was here today. This is just right up his alley. Thank you.
I want to share with you that he is here with us in spirit,
Yes.
because I know he loves this stuff. All right, folks, we do have Dr. Burillo.
Good morning. So it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm glad that I came in when Ms. Bump was talking about students to develop an app for math. And so that's just the kind of professor and just basically the point that Mrs. Bump made. He just loved to learn and he loved to work with students constantly. And that was his passion. And I'm very pleased to be here this morning in this Appathon with all of you. And I congratulate all of the students who are participating today. And I'm very proud and I'm thankful of the faculty that we have at HCC and being able to join this effort today and having another student experience that will be meaningful in your career, no matter what industry sector you're planning to pursue. Being able to know about app and developing and designing apps and taking an issue of our community and utilizing 21st century technology and apps to solve issues that the community has is it brings together design concepts, brings together the collaborative power that exists when people from cross disciplines come together to solve an issue, and critical thinking and all the different things that come along with just developing an app are not necessarily just about programming, but about the entire process of creating a solution and utilizing technology for that. So again, I'm very excited to see also and thankful to those who have agreed to be part of our judges today. I can't wait to see what you all develop, and I just don't want to take any more of your time other than to tell you I'm very excited and look forward to seeing what you all produce today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Burillo. And as I said earlier about our administrators at HCC, you will enable all of us, and we appreciate that support at the board level that allows us to do these awesome events and make them free to the participants. We're not charging anything to take part in this instruction, in this event. So thank you so much, Dr. Burillo, for enabling all of us to do this good work. Folks, we have a short video about 6 minutes that is shared by a former student at HCC with Dr. Douglas Bump on his last app project. I'll share this video and then we'll kick off with our keynote. Ryan Alexander Thomas, he's already here, so we're excited to have him speak shortly after.
Karen Noguiera, and I studied in Houston Community College in 2016 and 2017. I graduated in associate degree in application development Java, and I remember my last semester I got to meet Dr. Douglas. So he enrolled for the Java class because he wanted to learn more about coding and programming, because he wanted to use and in a mobile application, or like to be easily access to the students, so the students could study for their exams. So for this class, it was a Java class that was not exactly like how to build apps, but he was there very motivated, and he wanted to learn data structures and everything, and to later achieve his goal that was like released with all these math questions and put his videos. I enrolled for continuing education in HCC for mobile application using Swift, that's specifically for iOS. In this class, I saw that Dr. Douglas was enrolled for the class too, and we all learned all this new language that was Swift and using Xcode. And I remember that he had the same idea, and I think now he was even more motivated because this class was specifically for mobile applications. So his dreams could become true like faster because of we were learning like how to create an app and we could release it. So in the beginning we were learning more the concepts and the basic things, but once we become more comfortable with the language and with the framework, the IDE, sorry, that's the Xcode, the classmates, like we decided to create an app for Dr. Douglas. So everybody participated in the class. It was a smaller class, and we worked on the code, and Dr. Douglas released the app for the App Store that helped a lot of students. And I'm going to show a little bit like how the app looks like. App that was created, it was created to help students study for the final exam for intermediate algebra. It has 20 questions, and each question there is an answer provided. So you can see here the author, Douglas, Bump, and everybody on the class. So the app, it has 20 questions, and I said earlier, and it provides the answers. And if you show answers here, like you can say yourself if you got it or if you didn't get it right. So you mark. If you didn't get right, you can watch the videos about the explanation. And for next questions, you can say if you didn't get it or if you get it, because in the end it's gonna have a review, a statistics how you did. With the app, and he released for App Store, as I said, and the students would use to for the final exams, and he was very happy. He was a very happy person, and it was very nice to be part of this project. And that's it. It was a great idea. And for the coding, so I hope you enjoy today and with this Appathon. And for if you need any question, if you want to reach out to me, I will leave my LinkedIn and my email. If you need any questions about coding or Swift language, you can drop me an email or can connect with me in LinkedIn. Okay.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes. You're good
Awesome.
to go.
Awesome. Yeah, so I don't have any slides prepared for today, but there's just a couple of things I want to talk about, sort of piggybacking off everything Ravi and the instructors have said. getting involved with computer science really means understanding where the future is headed. It doesn't mean that you have to code every day for work. It doesn't mean that you have to be a data analyst, an engineer. It means really understanding how technology is going to play a part in our future. Nearly every industry has been transformed by technology, and I never saw myself as a computer scientist by any means. I went to school. I went to HCC, and eventually got my associates, transferred to U of H, studied music theory, got my teacher certification. I was a music teacher for several years in Houston. All I wanted to do was teach, right? I was DJing and stuff, paying my way through college, but my ultimate goal was to teach music. As I got more involved with, I was at Poe Elementary, Briar Grove Elementary, then ultimately St. Teresa Catholic School, I wanted to help more kids. So I would, buy kids instruments if they couldn't afford to be in the band. I would give lessons after school for free, but I kept wanting to do more. And it was at that point I was looking at, well, how can I do more to help my community understand and learn music? And someone said, "Oh, you should make an app, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. There's no music education applications that did what I wanted to do." And I didn't know anything about coding. So I took some courses at U of H, at HCC, just C++, a couple things to really just understand, like, how do you make an app? What is all this? And eventually I was working on this project with some of the grad students at University of Houston, and it was funded by the department, and we were basically just front-end technology, just web apps. There were several different projects they were working on, but everything was just centered around making stuff look cool on the internet for paying customers. So I'm like, okay, I'm here for that. I was working on this project for 6 months. They liked what I did because I showed up every day. I wasn't paid. I just said, let me just help out in any way I can. And they said, hey, we want to offer you a job as a programmer on this project. So we were starting to now work with Fundra.org, working on some of their front end tools. And I said, okay, perfect. So is it here at U of H or where is it? They said, oh, no, you're going to have to go to Cambridge. And I'm like, but why? And they said, well, you'd be working for MIT. They're the ones who are funding this project. So with, and again, I was teaching music at the time, and just the curiosity that I had with how can I make these apps to help my community, that somehow ended up with the job at MIT working out of their collab for a couple of years. From there, I didn't really know a lot about startups, but everyone in Boston and Cambridge was in a startup. And so I wanted to be a part of that because the startup is such a different type of organization. It's just a small number of people that are really scrappy, really hungry, and really driven to make a change, that believe in what they're doing, believe there's some problem out there, and they know that they are the right people to solve this problem. And I fell in love with that environment and was eventually offered a job for a data analytics startup in Columbus, Ohio, where I eventually met my co-founder. This is how we started Umanity. We worked for this company called Super H Analytics, basically building end-to-end data analytics solutions, topic modeling, disambiguation, and stuff for Mayo Clinic, nationwide, the U.S. Department of Defense. But after a while working in big data, you realize that the industries that are really good at it don't really need to be that good at it. The U.S. government doesn't need any more help with big data, machine learning, and facial recognition and stuff. So we wanted to take our insights to a sector that we knew needed help. This was around 2017, Hurricane Harvey hit. And seeing how there was that Houston spirit that came out and people rallied, volunteered, donated, did all sorts of amazing things, it was beautiful. But at the same time, you had half of donated clothes and food going to waste. You had people who had GoFundMes that were 10,000% oversubscribed, and people who were like, hey, I'm about to lose my house if I just can't get the mold out. Someone please help. So we spent 2 years building solution after solution, figuring out, well, why are there excess of resources and deficit of other resources. And this entire time, this entire journey was about just doing one thing, which is figuring out what the real problem is. And is it a real problem? What is the solution that's going to actually solve this? And eventually we came across the real issue was there's not a real marketplace for needs and resources. And so we scrapped together this platform, got accepted by the ION Smart and Resilient Cities Accelerator in Houston. We launched in March of 2020, 3 months ahead of schedule because of COVID. And you know, our first paying customer was Beyonce's organization Be Good and Jack Dorsey Start Small through Bread of Life, the for-profit arm of United Methodist St. John's downtown. And this all happened within a span of 4 years of, you know, just figuring out what is a startup to now working with, you know, some amazing people doing some amazing things, owning, you know, my own company. I'm still trying to figure this out, you know, every step of the way. But the thing that I've learned is that technology, again, is this integral piece that plays a role in our lives that we may or may not realize how big of a role it plays. And I think everyone in this room right now who is interested in Appathons, interested in teaching, interested in learning about this, you're going to be better positioned than the vast majority of people. Because if you have the ability to, one, understand what are the real problems that our society has, two, understanding what are the best tools that we have available to solve these problems, and three, how can I find people who, one, believe in what I'm doing, and two, can help me get there. And I think there's enough tools and resources in this room to really change everyone's lives. So just a couple more things I'm going to say, and then I'll stop talking. I know I talk too much, Robbie, so forgive me. The other thing I wanted to mention is a little bit about what our company does. So again, the company's name is Umanity. I am the president and CEO of the company. We enable organizers to coordinate and crowdsource community building, supply chains, and resource networks with our unique social marketplace platform. Inherently, we believe that humans are wired to do good, and we believe it's always been very difficult for us to do more than simply have a conversation about how to improve each other's lives. When communities need help, when they have either low income, you know, there's people can't pay rent, there's food deserts, childcare deserts, all these different problems that communities inherently face. We turn to big government and big organizations and nonprofits to solve these problems. And just inherently they become overwhelmed because everyone is coming to them to solve their problems, when in reality, nonprofits are just people and resources, which a lot of those actually exist within our own communities. And we give people the ability to do more than just have a conversation on Facebook. We give you event management, volunteer management, donation management, case management, project management, and of course, supply chain management, so that now we can figure out who needs help, where the resources are, and who's going to actually connect those resources to the needs within the community. We're being utilized by a lot of different organizations in the city of Houston. I think we have 2,000 resources listed on the platform here. We've now are going to start working with the Biomimicry Design Alliance and a few others in New York and Denver. And now we may be going to Florida within the next 30 days. So again, we're new. We're always looking for partners. We are hiring. So if anybody is interested in learning more about what we do, how you may help, and how we can help you and empower the great things that you're doing, Ravi, I know we've talked a lot about how Umanity and HCC can work together. So I'm really looking forward to furthering those conversations. But again, I'll stop talking, guys. I'm really thankful that you let me talk so much. And I just want to encourage everybody as you're thinking about the solutions and thinking about the problems that you want to solve, always remember the value add. Make sure that technology is not just to be cool. We want to make sure that whatever we're building, it's actually going to solve the problem. It's better than the alternative. And the alternative may be a manual solution. So pen and paper may be a better solution than what you make. Recognize that and say, well, where are the pain points that people experience this problem have? How much time can I save them? How much money can I save them? Can I bring more people together? Always have those metrics in mind, because that's what I've done to get here is, just how many more people can I help? How much time can I save people? And how can I bring people together to do the great things that they're already doing? So thank you again, guys. And let me know if you have any questions. My email, I can share it probably in the chat. Yeah, happy to help anybody with anything. I'm always around. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And I when I met you first time, we were at Rice University, and you were there listening to students pitch, if I remember. And then we reconnected for the Black Girls Code competition workshops. You are one of those CEOs who truly care about the community. You're a tech guy, but you're a good guy at heart. And I appreciate you just, making your Saturday available for us and sharing your story, and then also offering us jobs. Man, that's awesome. So from those on the hackathon, once you get your skills built up, folks like Ryan could hire you, and there's a big demand for this. So I want to give a quick shout out to you for the success you've had and the success you will have as you continue your tech journey. So Ryan, thank you so much, and I love the story. A music teacher turned into a tech entrepreneur. What?
I got to send you an updated photo, because I cut my hair a few months ago. That's all right though.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
So I did get. Let's now move on. I hope you learned some inspiration from Ryan as well as Dr. Bump's story. We're always looking at others and looking at this, their passion for things, and then I consider entrepreneurship sort of a virus, right? That you catch from others. In order for you to truly want to do something, or make your own impact and your own change, you look to others and their stories. But while you look at their stories, notice that you have your own story and your own path to follow. So the best thing you can do is you can practice, skill build, learn all the tools that they used to be able to create their impact and create your own impact. So I want to switch over from the inspiration of the day. We're right on time, around 10:45. We want to do, get the instructional side going. So we're right on time on that. So we'll switch now to instruction.
All right, awesome. All right, hi everybody. My name is Andre Hermann. As I mentioned earlier, I am the Department Chair for Digital Communications and Visual Gaming and Simulation. I'm also an Innovation Fellow here at Houston Community College. And so what I'm going to be speaking with you about today is how to plan your app. Basically, what we're going to be doing is talking about the planning stage, and that planning area falls into 4 different areas: UI, UX, the operating system features, how to design, so use color and design and composition to create something that looks aesthetically pleasing, and then finally, one of the most important of these steps is empathy. All right. And so we're gonna, in the next slide, I'm gonna break this down, and we're gonna talk a little bit about each of these as we move forward. All right, so empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. And so when we start thinking about designing an app for the general public, well, before we can really get in and design the whole app, we really have to think about who is on the receiving end of that app, right? Sometimes in the design process, it's very easy to get lost in this part of it, because we initially fall into the train of thought of, oh, I'm the designer, I'm designing this for me. How would I like this to work? When really we have to take a step back and think about who is the person on the other end. Who are they? Do they fall into an age group? Are they a group of people who are using mobile devices but maybe don't have thumbs? So how are they going to use their tablet without that particular, without that finger, right? Does the group use the finger pad, right? Do they use face scanning features? Do they use the thumbprint feature? What do they do? How do they use it? What are their issues? What challenges do they have? Right? So we want to keep those in mind. So technically, when you're thinking about the planning stage, really try to step outside of yourself for a little bit and try to look at as you're designing and planning your app, try to look at it from the eyes of your audience. Again, what are their challenges and how might they be using the device to navigate your app? All right. So the other thing to keep in mind is that the best apps, think about one of the best apps that you've ever used, one of your favorites. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it, right? Some of the best apps out there, for me specifically, some of the best apps out there, when I use it, I almost feel like the person knew me personally, and they were designing it based on as if they had interviewed me and asked me for my specific requests. That's how I know that an app is really good, is because, well, I feel very personally connected to it. And that's really where the power of empathy, UI, UX, and design comes into this. All right. So the next few slides, I'm going to give you just some little brief examples and ideas of how you can move forward in the planning process. So this slide here, I'm really just asking you to, as you go through the planning process, is to really reflect on some of the best apps and your favorite apps that you've ever used. So part of the planning process is really, make a list of a few of them that really caught your attention, that you really liked, where you really felt the designer had that personal connection with you. List them down. All right, and then once you're thinking about those apps that you had that were your favorites, and you're looking at and thinking about your own app, think about the basics like we listed here. The keyboard. How is your app going to interact with the keyboard, and how is your audience going to use the keyboard of the device to interact? Do you have to use the camera and the microphone? Are those needed? Are they an integral part of your app? And then also the touch screen. How are they going to access it? Is there specific information, or are there users with disabilities that may have to use their app in a very specific way? Down in this area below, you'll list some of those features. One thing that I want to, as an example, is think about we as the educational group, and we were discussing this. We were talking about an example of a voting app, and we were talking about just how complex a voting app would be in like this past election. When we're trying to make voting as easy as possible for everybody, if we were to have a voting app, we'd have to not just think about one small group of people, we'd be thinking about cultures of people, very broad age groups, right? People with different languages. And so we would have to, that's really where empathy comes in and plays a very vital part in your app development, is who is the audience, and well, how broad and how easy can we make this app for everybody? Finally, thinking about connections, right? In order to use the app, is your audience going to need Wi-Fi connection? Are they going to need to utilize the GPS functions? And finally, Bluetooth. Can they or will they be required to connect the Bluetooth to a microphone, a headset, or some other device? You can list it here in the area below. Finally, getting innovative, right? Speak recognition and machine learning, accelerometer and gyroscope, and augmented reality. We talked a little bit about this in our earlier discussions, relating back to that voting app again, is that let's say that we had a voting app, and we were addressing someone who may only speak Cantonese, or let's say all the languages, Spanish, Cantonese, German, French, without having to clutter the space with all kinds of different typefaces. What if they could speak into their device with their language, and then the app picks up on that dialect and switches all of the type over to that person's language? That could be an example of an innovative way of using speech recognition and machine learning, right? So then we don't have to list all the translations on a screen. We're using the technology to simplify the process for the user. Okay. Accessibility. The operating system supports multiple ways to access on-screen content. Again, I've mentioned this earlier before. People with physical impairments may not be able to use the device in ways that maybe you and I use it, right? Again, in that extreme example, think of someone who has no thumbs, right? How would they be able to use the device if they didn't have thumbs? Maybe they have to use their voice, right? Or maybe they're plugging in a special tool that allows them to tap on the screen. So we need to make sure that we understand who these people are and how to best address either their impairment or the other issue that's challenging them. Before I go anywhere further, I also want to make clear that part of the planning process as well, when we speak about empathy, is we're simplifying it right now because of time, and you all are only going to have a few hours to really do this. But really, if we were to have a little bit more time, part of the planning process and thinking about empathy and getting to know our user would be, we would actually be going out and meeting with some of these people and doing interviews. We'd be talking to these people to get ideas of, well, who our users are, and even more specifically, who our super users are, people who are using it constantly versus people who may be using it once or twice. So we would be going out and doing our research to get to know who these people are, to really, really focus in and make sure that this app is really rock solid and specifically designed for our target audience. Okay, so finally, under features, now that you've learned about various features, it's time to see what combination works best. So this is where you're going to get together with your team, and after you've given some thought about the app and some of the features, well, now we're going to start working as a group to kind of bring it all together. I would really suggest that as you all are working as a team, think about making lists. Do a brain dump. So all the list of the features, all the features you want in one list, and then how those features may be used by your audience in another list, and then start looking for new connections between those features. That's where innovation comes in, is when we take one thing and something different, and we start combining them in ways we haven't seen before. And so when we start talking about innovation, that's where it gets really exciting. Really exciting is when we start crossing things together and we start discovering new ways of programming and using features that we may be taking for granted already. Okay. So here's just a kind of a basic example of a Go Green app where they talk about it breaks down some of the different features of it and the way of thinking. So think about your app, which features are essential to make your apps state of the art, which ones give it a wow factor. Again, that wow factor is at the intersection, that innovation intersection where you start combining the needs of your audience or your user with new ways of using the features and the tools. Okay. All right, now design. Give your apps some style and personality. Sometimes for programmers or people who work on the back end with the coding, sometimes this can be the hardest part because those folks who are thinking mathematically or with coding language don't always get the opportunity to think in regards to composition, color, font styles, and things like that, right? So this is where really, depending on what you're designing for, you really want to take into consideration what type of font face are you using. It may be, you may choose a font that looks really cool visually, but then when you set it for body copy, right, smaller font, smaller typefaces for, like, let's say a paragraph, you find that that cool looking font, it can't be read anymore. It may be better used as a headline, right? Bigger to catch someone's attention. So keep those sorts of things in mind. And really, I would suggest if you're not familiar with color and design and composition, go online and look up the color wheel and look at what complementary colors and contrasting colors are, just so you have a reference, so you don't combine contrasting colors that may conflict with each other. The other important thing to think about is, you know, colors can be very psychological and emotional. And so if you're designing for a specific group of people who, let's say, really get angry when they see the color red, you probably don't want to, you know, you don't want to use a dominating color that makes people angry or uncomfortable. So you may want to keep that in mind. The other thing in regards to empathy and usability is, don't forget about the fact that some people are also colorblind or can't see the screen at all, right? So maybe you tie a function of that into your design, your app, in which the user can switch between color palettes. I've seen that before in a game that I play called Dots, I think. There's an option where it says, hey, if you're colorblind, hit this button and it switches over to a color palette where people who are colorblind can see the distinction between the colors more easily. Now, I'm not colorblind, but I click over on it sometimes just out of curiosity to see how the color palette shifts. So that's something else to keep in mind as well as you're moving forward. So we got that already. Okay. Finally, going further, as you continue your design, we want to make it visual, simple and clean, yet visually interesting and striking. Because we want to create the app so it looks good, it looks compelling. We don't want people to go into the app, look at it, go, oh my God, it hurts my eyes, and leave. Right? We want to make sure it's pleasant to look at and it's exciting. We want to keep them there. We want them to explore and use it and well, you know, hopefully buy your app if it's for sale. There is one really good resource online for finding different icons. It's called Noun Project, NOUN PROJECT, and that is a site that if you go to, there's all kinds of really generic icons. You can type in a keyword and it'll pull up all kinds of pre-designed icons that you may find as a really interesting resource. And I think that's it for me. I'm done. So a few key takeaways in regards to planning is one of the biggest things to keep in mind is empathy. Really keep your end user in mind. Step outside of yourself for a bit as you're planning your app, and really think about if you were in that user group, what would you want? You know, we all want to use an app that feels like the designer knew us personally and asked us specifically what we needed. That makes the best app, the most comfortable app. Keep that in mind. In regards to design, color design and composition. If you're not comfortable with that, go online and research color palettes, research fonts, ask other people in your team for their opinions and guidance. And then also finally, in Discord, if you all have questions about that, I will be sitting in one of the rooms. If you're unsure about fonts or design, let me know. I'll ask general questions. I won't design your app for you, but I will definitely help kind of guide you in the right direction. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
That's great, Andre. Thank you so much. Shilpa, you're up. Let me pass the presenter ball to you.
Okay, so I'm going to just talk as Mr. Hermann did. So before planning, what we do is brainstorm. So when you get the challenge, you will be exploring different options to create your app. Even if you want to create that app, you have to be very clear in your mind. What is the problem you are trying to solve? So given the generic theme that you received on the flyer was theme of community wellness with a special focus on COVID-19. So you have to formulate questions around and find answers around that challenge, right? The next step will be, once you figure out that problem, you will go through there will be several ideas that will keep coming. So you will have to tone it down or keep a timer so that whatever ideas come, you just start putting them and then pick and choose if the time permits. So starting from looking at the purpose. Once you have that challenge and purpose defined, look at, maybe go to the App Center and look at if there is a similar app, or you can do whatever is favorite app for you. And look at what was the purpose for that app, what were the features, and just note it down as you go along. You can start defining your challenge once you decide this is your challenge, these are the questions. So let me walk you through some example, or one example that we picked up was Let's Vote Texas. So we thought that just recently the voting happened, so I think the vote app would work out fine. So we decided to give the name Let's Vote Texas. We found or framed some questions around that Let's Vote Texas app. So we came up with 5 possible questions: how, where, who, when, and frequently asked questions. Going through the next steps, as we were thinking of the questions, we thought that we need to think about audience, right? As Andre said, you have to be passionate about what, or have to show empathy towards what is your audience wanting to do. So when we decide the questions, we found that voter is our audience, right? So voter will need to see where he needs to go for the voting location. Voter needs to see how is the process of voting happening. Is he or she registered? Voter needs to know what is the final voting date. Voter needs to know who are the candidates. So these are the questions you are building around your audience. Further, one step down, if you want, you can expand on each of the questions. So going back, one of the questions I picked was how, right? So if I pick up the how question, then what are the things that come to my mind? First is if I want to check the registration status. So I can go deeper here, or I can plan it out when I go into the planning section, or I can go further down and expand into my prototype section. But it will help me to navigate from one page to another page, one screen to another screen, right? So some of the things that I used here, if you see, are sticky notes or stickies if you have MacBook. If you are using Keynote as your presentation software, you can use that. So these are boxes that I used from these tools. You can simply use paper and pencil. It's up to you. But keep that in mind, that you have to have a timer handy so that you don't spend too much time because time is limited, right? Going further into your idea, so if I have the how, I need to expand on how and go deeper and focus on the idea, a part of it. So I can extend and expand, as I said, here with the sticky notes, or I can go and expand in my in the next planning section. Taking one question, I can move to similar layout for next questions, right? So I maybe worked out for how. Now I may be working on where, when, and who, just by focusing and getting that thing out of my mind, right? So you can go over, reiterate over and over again on same topics, same questions, and you can start working out towards planning section of your app making process. So I thought that was enough for me to work on Brainstorm. Planning is already done, so I will give the screen to the next instructor who will talk about prototype. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shilpa. Let's see, Anci, I'm going to pass the presenter ball to you.
Right. So I was going to show a video, but I'm going to go ahead and just talk through it and let's get started. So this, y'all are probably sitting here going, okay, so what am I really going to be doing today? This is what you're going to be doing. Now, it's real important that we do the brainstorm, the planning, before you get to the prototype. And in fact, in the real world, it probably takes even more time to do all that pre-work than the actual writing of the app. You, like Andre mentioned, you've got to do you probably will do interviews, like Shilpa mentioned. You're going to be sitting down and asking a lot of questions about who you're writing this for. So you've got to like get your thoughts together. But then once you're ready, what you're going to do before you even write it is like to make a fake one. If you've ever heard, fake it before you make it. So basically you're making a fake app. That's all we're doing. So let's get started. We're going to use a theme of Let's Vote app, something that we kind of put together as a prototype. If you go to the Canvas shell, and after I go through this, I'm actually going to show you some hands-on so that you can see. And I'll show you this video. That was a really good video. Hopefully, maybe you had a chance to watch it, and I'll show you where that is. All right, so in a lot of this presentation, we are talking about PowerPoint or Keynote, but you can use Google Slides, Xcode, anything you want, and if you prefer the Google Slides because you can share, that's perfectly fine, and I'll actually show you that. Now, the first step before you prototype, you've done the brainstorming and the planning, it's to draw it all out on a sheet of paper. Now, this means nothing. This is fake pictures, and it has nothing to do with the Let's Vote app, but it gives you an idea. You don't have to be fancy, just draw it out first, okay? This is going to be my home screen. When I click on gallery, it's going to take me over here. When I click on search, it'll take me here, and just kind of lay out how you want it, okay? Then you're ready to go. Now, what I'm going to show you is a little bit more complicated. You probably don't have the time in the 3 hours, but I wanted to show you what you could do if, you had a lot of people working on it, or if you just were more comfortable with PowerPoint or Keynote or whatever, Google Slides. So what you're going to do in a prototype is create your screens. And you're going to create your screens using some software. Now, here it was done in Keynote, but it can be done in PowerPoint, Google Slide. And I'm going to show you a little bit later. And what you're going to want to do is get a picture of all your main screens. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a picture of every single slide in your presentation. That's not going to be feasible. But let's look at this Let's Go Vote app. All right, this is the home screen. This is the entry point to our app. So what's on here? Well, we've got a logo, and then we made a little table, and we've got 5 buttons: how, where, who, when, questions. When we click on how, it's going to take us to a page that shows you how to vote, or how to go vote. If you click on where, it's going to take you to one of these pages, like right here, where you can go. Now, again, you don't have to show every single page or screen, so kind of figure out what you want to show and what you don't want to show. All right, so a little bit on what Andre was saying, the design elements. The first thing is information. You've got to have good information in there. It's got to be intuitive and logical, okay? The next thing is navigation. Make sure it's quick and easy to navigate between pages. You might also have multiple navigation paths. That means, hey, you might get to the last page or the exit by going through your entire app, or you might get to the last page by clicking the quit button. So there might be 2 ways to get to the last page. So just keep that in mind, but make it pretty clear and direct. And then the last thing is the interface. And this goes to what you're going to have talked about before you get to this part. The images, the buttons, the text, just make them visually pleasing for your audience, and don't go too crazy. Keep it simple. That's the main thing: consistency and simplicity. Now, what you're going to do is have all your screens drawn out with a little summary, but we're going to use this in a little bit. All right, so now we're here. We're ready to go. So you're going to ask yourself, what are we presenting? Well, obviously, it's going to be up to you. Your creative inspiration is going to drive this, but you're going to start with, obviously, an intro into your app, like what it's for, what it can do. Then you need to have a storyboard, okay? So storyboard, and you're going to use those screens that you created. And you're going to a storyboard, and I know if you've seen this, maybe if you watched Elf recently, I think they've had a storyboard on there. You're going to have paths to all of your screens. So like this is the entry point, right? So when they click on how, it goes to the top left screen. When they click on where, it goes to this screen. Now, yes, there might be further screens, and it's up to you, what you put into the storyboard. You keep in mind that you might actually say you have an exit button here. It might also go to some other screen, and you might have an exit button here that also takes you to the same screen. You might have 2 paths going to the same place. Some storyboards look crazy with lines going everywhere. So think of that. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is now this is going to be a little more complicated, in further detail than you probably would, but what you're going to want is 1 probably screen per slide, and explain as much as you can. That's generally what they do in a storyboard. You do not have to make it complicated. Don't, do it however you want to do it. So like, for an example, I'll do a few. Here's the first screen. Now, I used a few more computer terms, but basically you can say it's a table, what they decided on how to design it, a table. This first row is just an image. Now you could also say we're going to put an image at the top of the screen. It didn't have to be in a table. The good thing about tables is it keeps your buttons, your pictures, your text kind of in the same format. But you could say, I'm going to put this at the top. Then this is a table, and we're going to say, well, the first row had 2 buttons, then 2 more buttons, and then the third row had the last button. That would be a good way to do it because you're being as descriptive as possible about how you plan to lay it out. But you could also say you have the 5 buttons, but it does help to say, hey, it's in a table, the first 2, the next 2. It's in light purple with a dark color text. And you can go into further detail, but then have a summary on it. Like say, this is the entry point. Here's the next screen. This is the house screen. And you'll say something like checks registration and displays steps to vote. You have the picture of the screen, and this screen basically, it's not as complicated as you think. It uses Safari services to load a web page. And then the web page describes how to vote. And the done button, which we don't have a done, oh, the done button's up here, will bring it back to the main screen. Okay, so this is the where screen. And you could say provides information about locations and driving directions. Okay, now what's good here, what are you going to do when you're making yours? You don't just go to Google Maps or to wherever, get a screenshot and put it in here as a sample. It doesn't have to actually be the exact map of what you're talking about, but get a little sample. That's all this is a picture taken from a map software. Then you could put some shapes, and we said, hey, this screen displays the map of voting. We put a search bar to filter voting locations, and we added flags to show where they are. And there's no done button, right? So you could click the let's vote to go back to the main screen, and so on. So this PowerPoint is on the website, so I'll let you go through. These are just simple examples of what you can do. So we know we're going to start our presentation introducing our app and have a storyboard with the paths and have details, which isn't really a lot because you have to create these anyway, so the text with it isn't too much. And then now the fun part, the build. This is the fake it until you make it. And I'm going to show you an example of this. And what it is, you create a prototype of your app, and you don't have to do it in anything other than Google Slides, PowerPoint, Keynote, anything you're comfortable with. Google Slides is nice because if you're on a team, you can all work, but it's up to you how you want to work it out with your group. And then you test it out. And you're thinking, wait, I didn't think I was going to write anything, and you're not. You're going to use these tools, okay? Pick a tool, create the storyboard, and then do the build. All right, and so now I am going to share where to go. Okay, so you guys cannot see my screen, right?
We see it.
I'm going to share something else, that's why.
Okay, yeah, no screen is being shared now.
Okay, I'm just going to share my whole screen so you can see everything, and I'm going to go here. All right, so now what we want to do is actually do the build. Okay, so we're actually creating the prototype. So take a look here. These are the slides of the phone screens. And this is what we're having in our prototype. Looks pretty similar, right? All this is shapes, text, color, put into PowerPoint. So for example, here's another one. It doesn't have to look identical, and it doesn't have to look this detailed. We don't have enough time, but I just wanted to show you what happens when I click here. See how these are just shapes? And this is just a shape. So, and then you can add, if you'd like, PowerPoint, Google Slide animations. Okay, but the main thing that you've really got to do is create shapes, and I'll show you how to do the phone shape, and click buttons and links. Now see, when I click this, it is just simply taking me to a different slide. And then when I click this, it's taking me to another slide. And by doing that, you have basically shown a fake version of your program, and this can even take it further back to the original. So this, if I click, will go back to that first one. Okay, so now let me show you one. This was a combination of some students, and then we changed it to change the theme. This is just a picture of the phone. This is just text, a shape, some animated shapes, and this is a link. It clicked me to the next phone. If you keep your phones in the same location, then it just looks like it changed the screen. Then this had 6 questions. Did you complete the review? This is like the most useless app. Are you ready for the test, right? Did you complete the review? Yes, it says correct. But if you say no, it says, hey, try again. If I say, did you review your notes and books? Great job. When I click this, it goes back. What's happening is this is, say, this picture's on my PowerPoint. I'm going to show you slide 23. This probably takes you to slide 24, and this takes you to 25. This takes you to slide 26, and this takes you to the last slide right here. Oops, see, I have a little error on this because I made a change, but it takes you, this should take you to the last slide right there. And then we're done. And all that is an animation in PowerPoint. Okay, so now I want to show you just hands-on stuff. And Ravi, what time do we have till for this part?
You still have another 4 minutes before an email goes out to students to start preparing. So you're good on time.
We're perfect. All right. So what do? Okay. You are going to open up Google Docs. So let me just show you. You're going to add a slide. Now, I mean, it's Google Slides. If you don't want to do that, PowerPoint, Keynote, and you're just going to start use what you're comfortable with. Okay. So make a new slide. And then you're going to insert images. And one thing I really, really wanted to show you was if you go to our Appathon page and you go to modules, you will have, you can go to this prototype. There's a video, and up here, this video up here has what I showed you with the fake phone, the actual one, and it has a transcript. But if you go all the way down to the extra resources, we have something that you might be interested in. Some phones, okay? You can Google your own, but you can download these. There's a black one that's a little wider, this one's narrower, and this one's gray. And so what you're going to do is download it, and then I'm just going to come here. You can go to insert from your computer. I'll pick this one, and there you go. You've got a phone. Now you can duplicate your slide, and you have the phone on 2 slides, okay? You can make a shape real quick. I'm just going to show you real quick right here. Make a shape. Oh, there's a shape. Make it, bring it over. That can be a click button. And you can center that word by going to format, text, and well, actually, we'll go here. You can format. I have my screens a little messed up, but then you can center it. You can come in here and you can fill your button, okay? You can center your text, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a link. One way is right click and select link, and if you want to link to a slide, then you click here, okay? If you know it's going to be your previous slide or the next slide, I would use that. Or you can pick a number. Just beware, if you pick a number and you add more slides, you might need to check it. And then what happens when you run it and you click on it, it takes you to that slide. And the last thing I'm going to show you is you don't have to draw all these shapes like the phone. We have some, but you can also go to where Andre said the noun project. And I Googled phone. Obviously, this isn't going to help, but there might be others. But more importantly, see here's some. More importantly, you can get other shapes that you want, okay? And then you can make your own arrows. So I kind of hope this makes sense. If not, you can watch the videos back on our Canvas show, and it goes into a little bit further detail. And the most important thing is to have fun. And don't make it complicated. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and have a lot of fun. So I'm so glad y'all came and spent your Saturday with us, and good luck.
All right, thank you so much, Anci. So right on time there, the lesson has wrapped up, and your challenge for this semester's fall 2020 Appathon is the theme of community well-being. If you've read through the overview and the materials, you knew we cared about the community. We wanted to find out, we are in a global pandemic. Our focus is around COVID-19. Your ideas don't have to directly talk about COVID-19, but we want you to stay in the theme of community well-being, which is pretty broad. But so think about, COVID-19 has created so many problems for so many people. Every single one of you have experienced it, who are on the call as well as watching on YouTube. It's impacted almost every human on this planet. So when Andre talked about empathy and going out and talking with another and just learning about the user base you want to support, well, guess what? You are that user base that you're trying to support, which means if you've got a problem, like, as an example, because of COVID, all of us are kind of stuck at home and we're not having as much outdoor activities as we used to. We're social distancing, which is a great thing for you to do. We're keeping our community safe by doing that, by wearing masks and following the CDC protocols and so forth. So we're doing all the good things, but then we're also kind of getting faced with this other challenge, which is now that you have kind of isolated yourself in the social new world. We're all using new technology to communicate with one another, but now we're not as happy. Like, there's a true problem of depression and mental health that's coming about. And if you think about, we're now more cranky because we're not seeing people in each other. And if something doesn't go the way we intended, now we get more cranky and we're just upset about in general. So, that's all impacts our community. As humans, we need to be thinking about solutions for this. So while your theme is community well-being, your focus is around the global pandemic that we're experiencing, we're looking for challenges, ideas around local community. So something that you know is a problem. Maybe you know that people aren't getting the information or they're not getting accurate information. Well, is there an app idea that you can come about that can solve that? Maybe you come up with a way to know where people are in large numbers, and all of a sudden you can prevent people from gathering in large numbers. You can alert a user and say, hey, listen, if you go another mile down this bike trail, you're going to see 100 people there. So you may want to reroute and avoid large gatherings because it's connected to the pandemic we're facing. So I'm throwing out things for you. Of course, you have your own ideas. I don't want to in any way lead you down an idea path, but think about these things. Think about safety. Contact tracing. It's such an important element of knowing if someone is infected with the virus. They're supposed to have a 14-day quarantine period. How do we know, or how do we notify people who came in touch or contact with these? I mean, there's so many problems in that around safety during a global pandemic that you could come up with some great ideas. All right, so think about that. Then also we want to talk about health. Like I mentioned, more and more people are kind of just staying at home. They're sitting around longer. They're from personal example, people are gaining weight. I mean, people aren't moving as much. People aren't going up and down the stairs at the office, and they're at home. And of course, we want folks to take walks and be safe and all that. But there is a true problem. Is there an app idea? Is there a solution you can come up with that could actually alert people and say, hey, man, you haven't been moving all day. You got to get up and do something. Or vice versa. Like, is there thoughts around improving our health? Can we keep track of it through the smartphones? And obviously, we're looking for awareness. We want more people to know when it's safe, when it's not safe, when it's appropriate. What is COVID-19? And obviously, the world has gone through this for now almost a year now. Well, believe it or not, but in November, you're going to hit this milestone when some of the cases started to come about overseas. So think about, there's still challenges where a large number of populations in the third world countries, they're still not truly aware, and there's a lot of fake ideas and fake solutions being thrown around on social media. Is there something you can come up with that make sure that the awareness of the problems, the awareness that needs to get, the accurate awareness needs to get down to the individual, to the family, to that community. Ideas around there, we're looking for that. So I'm gonna, let's see, I've got one more, which is communication. Because we're now talking about being in a virtual environment, because we are doing this whole event on WebEx and YouTube, is there any other ideas that you have that can improve communications between one another? So while we're socially distancing from each other physically, we're not emotionally distancing ourselves from one another. There are a growing concern among senior citizens who are now facing loneliness, right? Because their kids and grandkids can't come and see them as often, and there's just a genuine problem with just, can we use technology better? Can we make it easier for senior citizens to be able to, one click, be able to talk to? Is there ideas in the communication space that we can come up with to make this solve this problem that you have? So I don't want to give away too much. I'm going to let you think on your own. This is now the moment for you to start the making process. This is also what we call the inventing. So let me see if my slide would, there it goes. So this is now the opportunity for you to make. We're going to give you almost 3 hours. It's about 11:52 Central Standard Time, which means you've got about 3 hours to build your team. And again, you're going to self-organize. You've got 2 tools. The email's gone out with the links for Discord as well as Remo. Remo's going to open up at 12. It's a fantastic tool to kind of virtually see. I'm going to show just for the audience what it looks like briefly. But participants, you have access to both of those platforms to collaborate with one another, find out who's in the room, what skills they have, what ideas they have, and brainstorm together. Once you've got your ideas down and you know who you want to work with, make sure you guys come up with a project name and starts drafting out your presentations. As Anci shared, the deliverable you have to make for us today is going to be a presentation. We're not expecting a full-fledged working app prototype. We are expecting a well thought out app showcase, which is really a design, a wireframe of what an app would look like and what it would do and why it's doing it and what problem it's solving. And all of those submissions have to be on the DevPost website by 3 p.m. Because at 3:15 we're going to do our community showcase. We're going to go and see what all the ideas that have come in, and we're going to select some of them for our judges. So you want to make sure you don't miss that 3 p.m. deadline. Make sure it comes in and get that idea in there. So let me share with everyone what it looks like on some of these websites. I'm going to share my browser here for a second. So, all right, so a couple of things that our students have access to, right? So, and if you don't, then this is you've got 3 hours to problem solve and get access to these things. So, the first and foremost is going to be Remo, which it's the links are being emailed to you, so make sure you're using them. So Remo is going to be this tool where you can double click on a chair and you are now going to sit in there, and it would allow up to 6 people for the center tables here. It would allow 4 for the side tables, but this is now your virtual building, right? This is where you can, once you get your teams down, or maybe you come here and you listen to what teams are there, you double click on any of the chairs and then you basically go and you sit there and be able to share your cam, share your mic, chat with one another, share your screen, even have a whiteboard for you to use to be able to brainstorm together, right? And I've shared with the students early in the morning when we did orientation, you want to use maybe Google Slide or PowerPoint or what have you, anything that you can upload and make publicly available on our website, the DevPost website. I'm just going to bring that up here just for one more time. So on DevPost, you've got the submission link has gone green. So of course I want you to get together, make your teams, put your ideas down, create your presentations, and then do the submission process. During the submission process, you will be asked if you have a team. If you don't, it's okay. You can submit solo. However, we recommend you have a team. It'll make your idea even more feasible if you have one. But submit one project per team and make sure you tag everyone who is part of that team. So we will have one team lead who puts that submission together, and then all those projects will end up in the project gallery when it's ready. So right now you're seeing we haven't taken any submissions. Your deadline is going to be at 3 p.m. Again, that's very critical to do. And one other thing, so Discord, I'm not going to pop up Discord on the live stream because I've got already people chatting in there. But you can also join the Discord channel if you haven't already to continue your team building. Okay, folks, so I'm going to also share with, for most, if not all, have been invited into the Eagle Online course that has all of the links that were shared by the three faculty there, all of the items, the videos, the PowerPoints, with some voiceover as well. And it's uploaded. You were invited into Eagle Online. You do have to use your student accounts to log in. If you don't get this in time, don't worry about it. You've heard it directly. In fact, I encourage you to go back on YouTube and replay this broadcast so so that you can catch the instructional piece if you missed it. But you've got access to the course. You've got access to Remo. You've got access to the DevPost website and the Discord channel that's linked right there. Folks, go ahead and start the hackathon process. Go and make. We will stay in touch with you on those platforms. We'll be sharing updates and announcements there. For the live stream, we're just gonna play music. So if you are just watching the hackathon process, you know, if it was in person, we would have our live stream cameras letting you see the students go and make. Of course, we're not in person. We're doing this virtually for our first time. So we're just gonna play music and let you enjoy some royalty-free instrumental music from pretzel.rock, and enjoy this music while we are making. So students, go and use those platforms. Our audience, thanks for watching. We will be back by near 3 p.m. Central Time. Thank you. That's not bad, given that they only had 3 hours. So, Samir, how does it feel? Getting 7 entries in 3 hours.
It's amazing. I'm amazed.
I tell you, I mean, you know, there's so many things that go into doing a hackathon. Everything from, you know, getting the, you know, if we see our process, right? We've got everything from, you know, getting the inspiration. We did that this morning. with our keynotes. We were inspired by Dr. Douglas Bump and by Ryan Alexander Thomas. We learned in the instructional piece from Professor Andre Hermann, from Anci Shah, from Jessica Koo and Anci Shah, and then Shilpa. Excuse me for not being able to pronounce her last name, but it's Shilpa, Professor Shilpa. And with that instruction, we announced the challenges. From defining those challenges, we released the group. Looks like we've got like 48 participants on the hackathon site. Is that right, Samir? Is it changed? Is it up there?
On that post, 49 people.
49. And so 49 people signed up for the hackathon. Man, and so even if they didn't.
56 on ID Loom.
How many?
56 on ID Loom.
Oh wow! So 56 people registered for the CE course. Awesome.
Yeah, and most of them still need to be actually registered officially, but we'll be able to later. It's just our tour is not around.
So I'm looking at it. It looks like we're getting those late entries coming in. This is like the voting, man. we've got counting and recounting, and the votes coming in, trickling in. No announcements tonight, folks. All right, look, I got to tell you, the fact that we were able to share with 49 people on DevPost some inspirational stories, some instructions, and out of those groups, we've got them submitting some ideas. That's fantastic, and this is our first time. We've never done this before, right? Have you done this before?
Time. No, first time collaboration with you.
Let me ask you ever gonna do this again?
I'm down. I think so.
You're down. I'm down. This stuff is fun. All right, folks. So it looks like we're gonna. We've got 8. It looks like the entries are coming in, so we want to definitely kick off our community showcase. All right, so this is what I'm looking at, right? Right in the middle there. I'm going to show directly the website as we see it. So the participants we're talking about, there's a group of people who care to dedicate their Saturday. Lots of people. A lot of people reported they were working solo. A lot of people said they were looking for a team member. Hopefully they made some friends today. And some of the folks said they already have a team. There's lots of specialities. Check it out, man. We have front-end developers, full-stack developers, back-end developers. They got to be some of your students. Business, designers, mobile developers. We've got 2 students. I think everybody's a student, right? Student of life. We're all students. We're always learning.
Yeah, mostly our students.
Yeah. I like that lonely guy there. That lonely college professor. That must be you. Or me. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
We got a lot of lone wolves.
I love it. Yeah. Well, yeah. Tech has its own draw. All right, so look, check out the skills people have. Python is like the top. What's up with that? Is Python easy to learn, or just 24 folks?
There's a lot of libraries out there. It's very versatile.
Huh.
Much easier than
but
Java.
Is it worth learning? Is it worth learning? Does it equal to a good paying job?
Sure is. It's one of the hottest languages right now because it's lightweight, it's easy to code, it's good for data mining, data analytics, Linux scripts, networking, cybersecurity. It's really the community that's why Python's big, because there's a lot of stuff you can use.
Cool, that's good to know. So does HCC have a program on Python?
Yeah.
They do?
We do. We have Python 1 and 2, and then it's there's a data mining or kind of Python courses being added on CE. Even on the AI program, I think there's a Python course. But yeah, it's one of those, a lot of people want to take it.
I'm looking at number 2 there, Java. Wow. Is that a tough one to learn? Or is that outdated? Let me ask you that. I've heard of Java for now 20 years or more.
It's
Is that
still
hard?
very common. Java, C++, Python, yes. Swift. Swift is up and coming.
Huh.
Metal.
And you've got C++, JavaScript, HTML. So there's some coders in the group. I was surprised to see that.
C# is also kind of like Java and C++ combined-ish.
Shared with them the process, the hackathon process. We gave them access to a full classroom. Let me go there. I want to show that for the audience. We went straight into this Eagle Online, and we made available a whole bunch of content to them. And we had our 3 faculty present, each one of the elements of Brainstorm, Plan, and Prototype. And there's some resources, extra resources available to everyone who had signed up for this class, including a pitch competition where they can kind of double dip what they learn here, whatever idea they create here, they can go submit it at the HCC pitch competition as well. So there's a bunch of resources. And then I think what we did is, during our updates, we shared one more resource center. So I think we shared a Google Drive on there. I think we had templates for them. We had some presentations. Looks like a transcript and a PDF. So we shared this education, right, to all these folks, and we asked them to solve a problem. They came back and they've submitted now. Let's check out the number 8. We're still at 8, so I think we're gonna have to call it soon. We're gonna have to make sure. But eight ideas came out of this, right? Our rules were pretty simple. We wanted everybody to be helpful and kind to one another, and we want to make sure that we were very friendly. We were not in any way harassing or discriminating or anything. We were very open. Our rules, our social rules guide, we made sure everybody knew about them. And we also had, if you had any complaints, we had 2 people you could reach out to, kind of report, but I'm not hearing any. So all in all, folks did a good job. They were nice, they're kind, they came to learn, and they shared their skills to help others, and then they submitted those ideas towards this gallery. So we want to move on to the community showcase, right? So the community showcase part, it is about just now looking at those ideas that came in. And then out of this community showcase, what we'll do is we will prepare those who are ready to go, those ideas that have some thought behind it, get it ready for some judges. Like, let the judges look at it. Now, these are not just any judges, right? So I want to share with you who we have for judges that's going to be joining us in about 45 minutes. So I'm going to scroll down further. There's our judges slide. So look, we've got 6 judges that we're looking for. I'm going to start from our HCC folks. We're looking at Dr. Maya Dornovo, who's the Chief Entrepreneurial Officer. So not only are you, learning something, making friends, but now you're also getting recognized, right? You're getting in front of people who could do something about it. These are very influential individuals at the college. You get them to like your idea, they can move you to places, right? We've got Vice Chancellor of IT, Dr. Farrell Prestige, joining us as a judge. Vice Chancellor of IT means she's a very influential person on the IT budgets. They decide on what to buy. You've got an idea that solves a great problem that she's trying to solve. Guess what? You are right in front of them. There's your opportunity to pitch to Dr. Prestige there. We also have Vice Chancellor of Student Services, Dr. Shantae Grace. So you've got a solution that solves for students. She's the person to get in front of, to pitch it. So let's see, we also have Dr. Wren Bump. She is Dr. Douglas's wife. As we learned from Dr. Douglas, it's all about that care, that being kind, being helpful mentality. And she is an example of that as well. She works for the VAST Academy, Samir. And, that's a great program at HCC for differently abled students. And we're ever so proud of the work that she does. So, yeah.
I didn't know that you said Dr. Bump does.
Uh-huh.
Great. I'm sure she works closely with Sue, and they've had some cool summer camps that we've been working with them on.
Yeah.
For the VAST Academy. It's been great.
Right, and then we have our very own Dean Otmishi. He is the dean to know, so if you've got plans to move in the tech field or start your career in the tech space, guess what? Every company is asking the dean for posting positions and hiring interns and apprentices. If the dean knows you, that's good for you, right? So if they know what skills you have and what your ambitions are, knowing the dean matters. So
maybe that could be a prize recommendation letter from the dean and the president. They like to throw that in.
Open doors, I tell you. You get the dean to write you a letter for your 4-year degree, 4-year university, or for that job, for that scholarship. A lot of scholarships now require recommendations. I mean, really elevate your profile by getting some folks with some heavyweight titles supporting you. So those are all the folks from HCC. We also have Don Henderson, who represents the region for Apple, for Apple cells. So Apple, the company, yes, the $1 trillion plus company that is now globally known for its smartphones, he'll be joining in as well. He's also looking for what came out of the Appathon today. So we're excited. We're excited to share all these ideas in front of them. So Samir, you want to take a look at what we got in, what those ideas came out to be?
Yeah, let's look.
All right, let's do it. So, refresh one more time. Hey, that always happens to me. 9 entries. So it got bumped up by 1. Somebody was just trying to catch up. So the way this one works is, we've got the entry. We're just going to click in here, and as of right now, the public voting is enabled. So I can also vote for a project that I like. Samir, you can vote for a project that you like. Anci, Andre, Fidelis, everybody on the call here, including the attendees, you can vote for projects that you like, right? So go through these projects with me. Again, all you have to do is go to the DevPost website, and let's go through them. Let's look at them. If we were in person, we would just have everybody, all the hallways filled up with people who are pitching an idea and people who are coming in just to listen to the ideas. So in the virtual world, we're just going to have to do this one by one, and we'll try not to spend too much time on each one because we want to be mindful of getting prepared for the judges. So in about by 3:45, we want to make sure our community showcase is good. And by the way, if I have the student on the WebEx events, and your pitch is being discussed over here, put it in the chat. Let me know. Let me bring you on and give you a second to share with us where you're thinking. So this one was submitted by Monica Lee, and I think, Monica, you've submitted the headlines to your presentation, it looks like, because I'm not actually seeing the full submission. You may need to go in and release it. So I'm not seeing the update yet, and I'm not seeing the presentation yet. So you may want to go back and upload a presentation. But let's see, is Monica on the call here?
She's not on here, but I could message her.
Oh, she's on the call. She's on the call.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, Monica, I'm going to ask you if you can unmute. Hi, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
we just came to your table and we see it's empty. What's going on?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know I was live.
You are live.
Okay, let me see if you said I have to release it?
Yeah, you have to make sure you make it so we could all see it.
Okay.
But we can always come back to
Yes,
this
please
entry
come
while you
back to
release.
me. Please come back
Okay,
to
we'll
me.
come back. Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back. We don't want to make you too nervous. Let's try, and let me do it this way where I'm going to close it so I know I have to come back to it. All right, so let's go back to our project gallery. Is there a cleaner way to do this where I don't? All right, let's just keep it by name. Okay. So let's start from college therapist. Wow, that sounds promising. All right, Samir, what do you think of this one? Inspiration. So we're not going to go through everything. We're just going to pick on the inspiration and what they've submitted. So I've seen many people in need of assistance from therapists, but refuse to take the help due to fears of being seen entering the therapist's office. That's so true, right? Like, you put it out in the public and it says, therapist, and you see somebody walking in, you automatically assume that person needs help, right? You automatically assume there's something wrong. So that's kind of true. So what does this application do? This application was created for those with social anxiety and remove that aspect. Okay. Enables contact between students and therapists. A simple chat and voice application with scheduling. I love it. Dude, I'm voting for this one. I just love the idea of taking something. I gotta say I'm not a robot. So Omar El Isa submitted this. So I'm giving you just one vote. That does not mean you win anything yet. Just my one vote as we're doing this. Maybe Samir's gonna wait for another one.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, right.
I've seen some Twitch streamers actually do that where it's live and they give life advice and dating advice for men and things like that.
Yeah, and it's so relevant right now for COVID because people don't realize there is a lot of mental health issues happening, and a lot of folks, especially men, right? They don't like. I'm a dude. I feel like I don't need a doctor. Like I always stand up. My wife keeps telling me, right? But I'm like, no. But if it was easier, right? If it wasn't something to kind of put us up, in going into this public room where people could see, or right outside there's a sign. It sounds like it's like a virtual idea. I love it. So we gotta definitely, if you like this idea, folks, vote for it, right? Allow us to bring this idea to the judges and let the judges decide. But okay, cool. I like how you're thinking, Omar. I'm glad. And he's sharing with us something in the chat. Mental health. To carry it in for everyone.
It can have like one of those kind of point systems. So if you help a lot of people, you get rewards, and and people can follow up and say you've helped them, and it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's very good, Omar. I'm glad you're thinking about this because guess what? Our world's gonna need this more than ever. So, all right, let's check out some other ideas. Let me go back. And I was by
Is
name,
he here?
so he's in the chat. He's writing.
Okay.
Yeah, Omar, you want to say something? Let me see if I can help you out with the unmute. There you are. Omar, we're gonna unmute you. Yeah. Okay, go for it. What made you want to do this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so recently, I've seen their mental health deteriorating, and also mine has been deteriorating too. And a lot of college students don't have money to go to a therapist outside of campus, and they don't want to be seen walking into a therapist's office because it's embarrassing. They don't want people talking about it. You know what I mean? They don't want anyone to know they have an issue, even though everyone has issues. And this is the solution for that. So,
yeah, so true.
I
man.
hope
So
he
true.
doesn't click on mine. No.
Oh, can you mute yourself there? I heard someone.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Everybody watches
Too late.
everything.
It's
Eyes are
live.
everywhere.
It's live. It's live. All right, let's check out number 2. COVID Care Texas. Wait, this is same entry I'm seeing. It's not released. So we're gonna have to get you to release it. We'll see if we can come back to it.
Like the title.
I like the title. Yeah, COVID Care Texas.
Speedy vaccines.
Let's check out the third table. Sorry, say that again, Samir.
I saw speedy vaccine. So I was thinking, as long as you don't send the military for that.
Yeah.
As a joke.
I get it. All right, check out number. We're gonna call them table number 3, but this is COVID Tracker app. All right, well, created by Eric Washburn. I'm not seeing him in the list here, but let's see. Check out this. He's uploaded some pictures for us to see. We've got.
He's here.
Using social media. He's here? Yeah, I see him.
Eric, yeah.
Hey, Eric, you want to tell us what's going on for the community showcase? I'll unmute you. Unmute. Eric. All right, I'm not hearing you yet. Oh, give me a sec. Okay. I can't hear him. Can you hear him, Samir? No?
Hello.
Yes,
Nope.
we hear you.
He's on now.
You made it. Yeah, Eric, you want to tell us? Samir and I just came by checking out your virtual table. Looks like you've got something about a tracker app. You want to tell us about it? I can't hear him again. I see him in the chat. He doesn't know why the mic works and goes away.
We heard you for a second.
I know it, yeah.
How about now?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, that's odd. I have to have the settings panel open for it to work. So I found recently, I read an article about a government app that was performing contact tracing using like low energy Bluetooth, which I thought was interesting, but I figured we already have infrastructure in place with social media. You know who your friends are, where people live, so why not use that and use that to track coronavirus? So the app, you can connect with Facebook, Instagram. I couldn't think of another example of something that you'd use for like close friends that are actually local to you. Like Twitter, I feel like you would just, well, actually Twitter doesn't have friends. I just wasn't sure what else to use for that. So you can track which friends have logged that they have coronavirus or their contacts. And one of the pages has resources for like testing, finding test centers. I'm not sure why the image order got screwed up, but the presentation has those in the right order. So,
man, I love it. I already voted for you as you were talking. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I love some of the visual graphics you're putting in there. So you're like the UX design looks great.
Yeah, I made in the last like 10 minutes. I made a small prototype. If you scroll down somewhere, just of one page.
Oh, come on,
I didn't
man! You
have
had
time.
10 minutes. You should have done more.
I guess I'm under the try it out link, but it's just a code pen that you can resize to see what it would actually look like.
This is great, Eric. No, this is great. And if you don't mind me asking, are you a student at the college?
I'm a high school student doing dual credit.
So you know that does make you a college student, because dual credit means you're enrolled in both.
Yeah.
So man, I'm impressed, man. Keep it up. You've got a good future with the UX design, so we got to keep that going.
All right, thanks.
All right, awesome. All right, let's go to the next virtual table, and then let me get folks to mute themselves, please. You are on. Samir, look out in the list for me. If we can make sure everybody's muted, yeah, that would be Awesome. All right, so let's go to the next virtual table. Oh, I think there it is. All right, we've got CovSOL. All right, so inspiration. Did not feel there was enough resources for COVID patients. I agree. I also don't feel like there's enough for COVID patients. So we've got a team of 4 people. So Ashram, Giovanni, Emily, Mahbub. I am wondering, is there a team lead out here who wants to kind of tell us what's going on?
Yeah, I can.
Well, go for it.
So when we were trying to figure out ideas of what we wanted to do, one thing that came up was there was enough resources for people in quarantine. Like they're not supposed to go out into society, but they still need food, they still need pharmaceuticals, they still need mental health checkups. There's a lot that they needed that they didn't get, and they were kind of ostracized from society while being quarantined. So we wanted to do an app that would prevent people from having contact, but also helping people in quarantine. So some of the features we did was like information about COVID, did like a delivery services with groceries and pharmaceuticals. We did like a mental health checkup with healthcare professionals. We really wanted to get into the mind of someone in quarantine. You know, they're going to be scared. No one ever goes through something like this. So we really tried hard to get into the mindset of someone in quarantine and just go with everything. You know, like the sky's our limit.
What do you think, Samir?
I think it's a great idea. It's a little broad though, but I definitely like the concept of having people have quick resources. You know, as it's true. I mean, when this thing first started, you know, it was such a mess. Like when you hear the news, you look at articles, everybody's posting on social media. Like, what are you supposed to really do? So if there wasn't some sort of app that like actually, I don't know, triaged everything and shared the proper messages from CDC or wherever. So I'm with you on that.
All right, I'm giving them my vote. You guys convinced me. I like it. I like it. We definitely want to get this in front of the judges as well. So far we're doing. I think we had 3 or 4 that I personally voted for. Make sure you're going through them and you're voting for the ones you like as well. It's always great to support others. You know, the whole competition to me is a gimmick because $500 isn't going to get you anywhere totally. But what will get you far in life is making friends and those relationships, working with them, and in here there's 4 people who have probably different skill sets working together, and if this idea doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't matter. There's so many more hackathons you can participate in. So the money part, yes, it's an incentive, but really the experience is going to drive you much further in life. So all right, we're gonna keep going. We haven't released the final finalist list yet, so we're actually working on it with you. Okay, so we have folks in the background who are choosing which ones we're gonna take up for our judges. So let's check out the next one. Let's fight COVID-19. All right, this one, same thing. I see it's by Afolabi, but I'm not seeing.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had very limited time to turn in this project because we had some technical difficulties, like uploading the PowerPoint. I think it said we had to upload a GIF file or PNG, and it was at the last minute. So please, sorry for the rushing and my writing. Just sorry about that. That's why I was just typing really fast and just wanted to turn it in.
Okay, but you have a PowerPoint presentation. I give you the opportunity a minute if you want to show us what you've got. That may help us, because even if it's not submitted on here, if you have it ready and you give us something to take to our judges, I'm
Okay.
okay. All right, so I see you got some app designs. Okay. Man.
I like the name.
Okay, here's some layouts.
So
I do
this
like
is
the
the
name.
main screen of the app, and you can actually access the hotspots like the coronavirus hotspots near you, the testing sites. You can check for symptoms. There's tips for prevention, and there's updated news and frequently asked questions.
Okay. All right, I'm feeling it. I like this. I think I'm gonna vote for this. Samir, what do you think?
I think it's awesome.
Oh, I love this.
And
I'm a sucker for hotspots, man. I just heat maps and hotspots. All of a sudden, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's what we need.
each row in the home page has a
Yeah.
link that directs you to what you're looking for. So when you click hotspots near me, it takes you to hotspot near me. So this section of the app utilizes modern GPS technology to detect the possible hotspots for COVID-19 or exposure sites, and it's updated very frequently using CDS news, CDC news and guidelines to guide the users about the
Yeah.
danger zone.
All right. So that's great. So we got to move on to some other tables because then I'm going to be really out of time. So I like what you
Great
guys
job.
are doing. Appreciate it. We definitely want to make sure we leave some time for the judges to do their work. So when the judges do come here at 4, we will be asking. Many of you will put a slide together where we'll share with you the order of presentations, and we'll definitely get you to pitch your presentation. So even if it's not on the website, like so, you can still pitch directly from your computer. So if you need to switch all the source code, the way I know it, we got project bombed here is we could look up when the video was published, and it was not today. So
It even has this chain link oracle that's a blockchain that's popular.
yeah, So
Oh, it's
Alex,
from
I'm gonna
Alex,
give you the PR. We'll give him the PR for 5 seconds, but I don't know if we can qualify this entry. This one's tough to qualify because we're you're going against students. I mean, it's a full-fledged CEO and.
It's shared.
Okay, all right. Let's check this out. Let's go back to. Safe from home. Okay, I like it. Tell us. You want to tell us a little bit about as I click on the slides here for you?
It's kind of like this app that it's sort of like a GPS. It's a mix between a GPS tracking app and like a home monitoring sort of app, sort of. So the way it works is that you can create an account. So I got this idea because I was like, when people like leave the house and stuff, I know me personally, like sometimes I'll walk out of the house and I'll forget my mask, and then I'll be outside and I'll be like, I can't leave the car because I don't want to get sick or anything. That was like where I came up with the idea for this. It started with the idea of having a app to like message you and remind you and send you like a reminder list of like stuff you needed before you left the house. But then I was like, what if it like did more than that? So I decided to make an app that you can connect with your family, and when someone leaves the house, the app will like send you a notification that's like someone's leaving the house. Do they have everything they need? And then like you can check on them, make sure they have everything they need, like their phone, because like people forget this stuff all the time. So it's more than just COVID. It's for COVID and like helping people like get their stuff, like keeping And while they're out, you can like while you're out, it's sort of like a GPS track too, because you can like navigate
around. And for COVID, I put this thing where it's like you can add a setting in settings to avoid high traffic areas or like areas where COVID is like higher. So you can get to wherever you're trying to go. Like it can give you a route avoiding high traffic people areas with a lot of people or areas where COVID is like higher, getting higher, like.
Yeah, I got you. So this is great. So you are, I'm gonna go back and gonna go ahead and put my vote for this one. What do you think, Samir? I like this one. I'm just gonna let the judges decide. I think we're gonna make our judges head hurt because a lot of great ideas, right? So I'm gonna kind of keep this around here. Well, actually, if the judges ask us for it, I'll ask you to put it in the chat. But we should be good to go. So how are you feeling, Samir?
Feeling great. The judges are coming in. Let's see if Sean's here.
They're coming in.
Sean's already here. We got this is Prestash. And then we have Maya already.
Absolutely. In fact, I've got a slide on the judges. So, all right, folks. So let me have everybody mute themselves. I'm gonna kind of kick us in. We're gonna need about 5 to 7 minutes to get our order of presentations down. Appreciate you taking part in the virtual community showcase. A lot of folks, there's about 29 participants on the call I think that includes attendees. So we've got a good group of folks who have kind of dedicated their Saturday for this hackathon, so we appreciate that, folks. We're gonna cue the music for about 7 minutes here till we get to 4 p.m. and then we'll move on from the community showcase to the evaluation, where we'll get our judges prepared. Our judges will have all the entries eligible for voting opened up to them, and we will start monitoring the public votes that are coming in for the entries as well. So folks, enjoy the music. We'll be back and we'll kick off the program around 4 p.m. Samir, I'll see you shortly, okay?
Yep, see you soon.
All right, folks, thanks for that wait. We needed to make sure we got everything in place. Our judges are here. Also, we have selected 8 out of the 9. So let's get the slideshow moving there. The evaluation, this is basically now all the inspiration, the instruction put together, the making, the showcase to one another, but now to strangers, and strangers in position of power, position of authority, position of just being somewhere in life. We are asking them to give us feedback, and we're taking their feedback and improving our projects, improving our ideas, because these are the folks who make those decisions on what to buy, what not to buy, what kind of solutions are actually feasible. They have many, many years of experience under their belts. So we definitely want this evaluation process to be a meaningful learning experience for you. So I want to mention that the judging criteria that all the judges are going to be looking at for the 8 projects that we are going to showcase are going to be around originality and the innovation. How innovative is that idea? They're going to be looking for positive impact or potential positive impact. They're also going to look at technical difficulties, if the idea was, 2 clicks, or if it requires probably a whole team. They're gonna be rating these on a scale of 1 to 5. They're also going to be looking at the user interface and design for those projects and those presentations that have included some graphics. Well, the judges are going to be looking at that, and we're going to remind the judges to be kind. You guys only had 3 hours to put this together, so we're gonna let them know. But then ultimately, the final criteria is going to be the overall idea and concept. Just what do they think about it? Does that idea have merit? Because me and Samir can like it all we like, but if we're not the ones who are buying it, right? Our judges, those from Apple, those from the administration at HCC, those are the ones who are actually gonna give us some feedback. So let's see who those judges are. Yeah, so this shouldn't have been a big surprise. All of you have seen this in the orientation and also on the overview slides. But for the audience, Samir, help me out here. I know I'm gonna put you on the spot and tell you who our judges are just for the audio feed there.
Well, first we have Don Henderson from Apple. Thanks for being here, Don. It's a great partner of ours. We have a great initiative with Apple going on, where we're building a pipeline from K through 12, and a partnership with Lamar that we're doing, where you can basically teachers can be trained to be high school teachers and go all the way to teach Swift at the high school level, and then students can even progress to a master's later, or our faculty to a master's to be able to also teach. So just thanks for being here, Don.
Can we get him on camera? Just
he's here.
I'm here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Excited to be here. And sorry you don't have a photo. I'll make sure to change that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So look, some of the students, Don, I just want to give you a quick, I had at least 4 people ask me, is Don Henderson really coming from Apple? Is there someone really coming? And it's like, yeah, man, someone from Apple is going to be around. So, we didn't think that you would come.
Super excited to see what they do. I've been looking forward to this, so this is going to be fun.
Well, we're so glad you're here. All right, Samir, take it away.
All right, I will go down the line, downwards, I guess. We have Mrs. Prestage here, our CIO of HCC. Very, very lucky to have her here. If you want a good motivation, ladies, there you go. Thanks for being here, Mrs. Prestage. And then we have Miss Bump. She was introduced earlier. Like Ravi said, she's with the disabilities group, right? I don't know exactly her title, but of course we had the story about her husband. That was very inspiring. So thanks again for being here, Mrs. Bump. Or Dr. Bump, I'm sorry about that. And I should have said Dr. Prestage too. We have also Dr. Maya Dernovo here. Our Chief Entrepreneurial Officer, that is a big title. And this year we won a big award. She can maybe tell us about it, but HCC got ranked as the top entrepreneurial school, I believe, right? So this event goes hand in hand with that. We're very proud of that. So great job to everyone. And we also have Dr. Grace here, our Vice Chancellor of Student Services. Awesome to have her here too. And then of course our beloved Dean, Otmishi of DIT, he's here as well as the final judge. I don't know if Ravi, if you want them each to say a word before we start.
Absolutely. In fact, I think you missed a couple.
No, I got 6 judges.
No, get the remarks for me, please. Yeah.
Problem is I cannot unmute, so you're gonna have to do that.
Well, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's Shah Otmishi. I just want to say I'm really excited to be here to be able to be one of the judges. And I've popped in, in and out, and I just know that there's a lot of great things going on. I can't wait to look through the apps and see what's going on. So this is really exciting. And I'm really glad that we have such a great panel of judges with us. So thank you all for participating and joining us in today's event.
Thanks for being here, Sean. As always, being a judge. Ravi, would you like to unmute Mrs. Prestage? We can hear words from that.
Absolutely, and I think all of them have the ability to unmute
Okay.
themselves.
Got it.
Mhm.
Got you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure can.
Thank you for allowing me to participate as a judge. I'm very excited about this and looking forward to it. Technology is where I live and breathe, and so very much honored to be here. I looked in a little earlier to see some of the activities that were going on, and I'm very excited to see the projects that you all are going to put before us to judge. So thank you to the participants, and thank you to those sponsoring the program, such that they invited us to be here. And good luck to the participants.
Thanks again. Mrs. Bump, would you like to say a word?
Okay, well, you heard from me this morning, but I'll just say, well, I'm with Best Academy, and we have 3 different campuses, one at Central, and one at Spring Branch, and one at Stafford. And that's for 18 to 25-year-olds with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I've been with Houston Community College about 4 or 5 years, even though I've been at the college level for since 1989, so a long time. So, and I teach also at U of H Clear Lake.
I just want to quickly add, in the morning we had a small sort of a honor and a tribute to Dr. Douglas Bump, who, shared his passion for teaching math. And all of us, the faculty that are around the committee, as well as some of the students, worked with him in making the apps for the math app. And we published, that was one of his last projects that he submitted before he passed away in March of this year. And we gave him a little shout out. We gave him I know he would love this stuff. So in that honor, thank you so much for helping us choose some of these ideas and helping us inspire more folks to make apps and do good in the world, like our Douglas Bump. So thank you for being here. Yeah, we haven't heard from Dr. Graves. Is she here?
Hi, Ravi. Yes, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to be able to be a judge in today's hackathon or App-A-thon. I know that the team who are hosting this event have put a lot of effort into ensuring that the students have a positive experience. And I couldn't be more grateful for their dedication and the time that they commit beyond their regular work hours. So you can tell that their passion for this work is really reflected in the types of events and activities that they organize in their spare time. So it's my pleasure again to be able to serve as a judge for today's event. I'm looking forward to what I know will be some great ideas. I was just telling a friend of mine earlier that we have some phenomenal students at HCC. I will probably be judging an app that will likely go off and be sold, and the student will never remember any of the folks who participated in the judging. But I'm proud nonetheless of the outcome of today's work. So good luck to each of you today. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks for being here. And yeah, you're right. Once they make it big, they forget the little people that helped them. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Been there. It's okay. But at the same time, we want them to make that impact because they'll eventually start hiring our own students, their friends, their students. So we're good. Dr. Maya Dornovo,
Hi.
haven't heard from you. How are you?
Happy to be here, and just wanted to take a moment to thank you, Ravi, and Samir and Shah for all the work that you've done to put this together. I think it's going to be really exciting. So I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing all the presentations.
Thank you so much. And I got to tell you, Dr. Darnovo makes everything that my office does. She enables it for us to be able to put these hackathons with our partners. So she really does, she really is the executive producer of the program. So thank you so much for enabling us, Dr. Darnovo. All right, folks. So that brings us to the projects. This is it. Congratulations to the 8. This is the 8 submissions that we want the judges to judge. Judges, all of you have special access to be able to go into DevPost and start looking at these and start grading them. Now, what we're going to ask is we want the students in that order. So we're going to go the top row first. So we want to see if we can get raise your hand as number 1, the college therapist as number 2, and let's kind of work our way to the first row, and then go to the second row, and then go from left to right on the second row. So we want the students to kind of get prepared, get your slides going. The judges, you do have the ability to see what they submitted, but ideally we want the students to make a 3-minute or less pitch about their idea. And if it's a team, we would like for one person of their team to kind of share their screen and highlight their idea. So students, if you're seeing this slide, we're going to give you all 5 minutes to kind of prepare yourselves and get that order going. Let us know in the chat by your name, your entry, so we know who to move over into the panelist link and when. And we are going to ask the judges to start looking and evaluating those entries on the website. You are free to wait until all of them, but we prefer that you go through each one as they're going, because we do want to end the program with an awards by declaring the top 3 cash awardees. So we could do that as soon as the judging is over. We'll be able to release that on the website as well. So students, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. You know the order. You see the names up there. Go ahead and get ready. Judges, please enjoy the music while we wait for them to get set up and good to go.
Robbie, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
When I go into, I'm in DevPost, but when I click on the first entry, I get a warning that says I can't judge it, even though it says I'm in as a judge. So I'm just curious if will that open up, or what do I need to do?
I have the same issue, Don.
Okay, it's not just me. I'm in I just logged in. I hit the first one thinking that would be the first one. I just can't do anything.
Looking into it now. Just stand by, please.
Okay, thank you.
Judges, I am announcing that the judging has opened. we are back. So there are some slight changes to this order, judges. We're just going to be super flexible to make this work. You may have to skip an entry if they are not able to present, or you may choose to grade the entry based on their submission. So if you would like to go to the Appathon's website and go to Project Gallery, all of their submissions are there. If they choose, or if they're not able to pitch in person, you may still choose to vote them based on what they submitted. That could or can could hurt that entry, but it is the discretion of the student to choose that. So we're gonna call on the student. We're gonna count till 3 and see if they are able to respond, and we'll unmute them. We'll put them on, give them screen sharing access. We'll give them, if they are ready to pitch, we'll give them 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes to make that presentation pitch. We will ask them to cut it if they go over 3 minutes. And judges, if you have any feedback or any question, we'll make 1 round of calls to see if there's any questions, and then we'll move on to the next entry in the interest of time. Yeah. So with that said, we are going to ask the first entry, the first presentation.
Can you see my screen? Is this working?
Yeah, we can see it.
Right.
We can see it, Eric.
So I made designed, I suppose, app that helps you track the spread of coronavirus in like your friend circles and your local community. So you're able to view hotspots in your local community, alert contacts if you've tested positive, get notified if a contact is tested positive. The app also includes links to some resources, including like testing centers nearby, symptom lists for COVID, and it's able to be free because it doesn't require any expensive server architecture because of the integrations with social media. So most of the data that it needs is from the social networks that you connect to it. So Facebook, Instagram, those things tells the app who your contacts are, who your friends are, who their friends are. And so then you can view if they're connected with the app too, which of them have been tested positive. You can also, if you choose not to integrate with one of these apps, or if you have other contacts that don't have them, you can manually add them just by searching on someone's account. You can display a heat map of positive COVID patients in your area, which would be generated with Google Maps data plus the data from people in your community the app has. Why to use it, I suppose. It's effective for a very low cost. It could be run nonprofit because it doesn't need a lot of data to be stored. You're just storing essentially accounts and like a true or false value. Their connections are all handled by external social media networks and stuff. So government apps exist. There is a government app that exists for contact tracing, which I thought was very interesting, for that uses low energy Bluetooth. So it actually tells you, like, if you've been near someone who is tested positive using low energy Bluetooth for like some period of time. I believe it's 15 minutes, which works well. But as far as I know, it doesn't do something like this where you can track whatever in your community and your friend circles. It just tells you specifically if you've been near someone who has COVID and has the app as well. So this is free to use for everyone, and it helps you increase your safety. You can avoid contact with anyone who's been exposed. You can avoid contact with their contacts or people that have been in contact with someone that has been exposed. And it can be used for data analysis, just using all the data from the app to look at communities. Say different communities respond to COVID differently. You could see the statistics for those communities. So I made the mock-up in Adobe Illustrator because I did not have time to install XD. It's just a very basic design for the app. You have, this is the home screen. You can connect with these social media networks, and you can view a report of your positive contacts and a heat map of your community. This is Google Maps data. And then there's a testing page here, which you can view some resources like a symptom list. You can find a test center near you, and you can log your results. If you've tested positive, you can mark that, and then everyone who has you as a contact will be notified, and their contacts. And you can, of course, connect with these and change the color theme for accessibility. That's it.
Thank you.
Do I need to make you the presenter now, or are you able to take that back?
I'll take it back from you. Thank you
Okay.
so much. That's kind of you.
Why is this minimized? Okay,
Hey, Eric, I'm curious. Did you enjoy the hackathon as the judges are
I
rating?
did, yes, thank you. I thought that I would have time to start writing, like, the front end at least. I was very wrong about that. Most of my time, like 2 hours, was spent making that mock-up, coming up with the design and the PowerPoint. Then I had some extra time, so I made like that render that's in the PowerPoint, and then I started making a mock-up. I only managed to get like 1 page done, so it was very fun though. Thank you for hosting this, and thank you to the judges.
Well, go ahead, and judges, do we have any questions?
Hi, this is Sean. I do have one question for Eric. I just want to know, are your only 2 social platforms you're looking at work you're integrating is Instagram and Facebook, or do you envision anything else?
Not really. Those are just the 2 that I thought of off of my head, that you have like systems for keeping track of friends that are actually like near you. Other apps that I could think of off the top of my head, usually friends would just be online, right? Not someone that's specifically local to you or someone that you would be in contact with. But I would obviously could add as many integrations as possible just to maximize the number of contacts you could connect.
Thank you.
Ravi, I have one quick question. Eric, I really like the idea a lot. What are your thoughts on privacy or ensuring privacy for individuals, and how would you handle that in an app like this?
You could, I guess, whitelist who can see your results or something. There's no data actually shared by this, except something that your friends would already know. So all the data that this uses is already stored in those, is already just grabbed from those social media networks, and then say a friend can see that your name and that you have coronavirus, they would already be able to see your name or any other information that's presented just via the social network. It's not like just anyone can see. And the heat map, like in your community, just shows the heat map. It's not going to show you who specifically has coronavirus near you.
Right. Thank you.
Rahima, you're good to go. Your time starts now.
Okay. So my app is titled Safe from Home. It's sort of like a family tracking app, because my app will it tracks the your family's like your family members' activity, like of leaving like outside the house. And that's like one of its functions. So okay, I'm starting. First, you basically you create an account, and after you create your account, you have the options to make a family hub. You have the option to connect this app and you have the option to make a list of things you want to remember before you leave the house. I got this idea from people leaving the house all the time and forgetting stuff. Like my mask, personally, I sometimes have trouble remembering to get that. So that's where I got this idea from. First, Family Hub is basically you can connect your phone to all your family members' phones, and you can see where they are using GPS systems, right? And the GPS will show you areas of high concentrations of people or high places with high COVID-19 outbreaks, where it's more concentrated, and it can help you take routes to avoid those areas. That's what the GPS system can do for you. The Family Hub is you being able to see where your family are, and Family Hub is interconnected with everything else. But the connecting to the security system of your house will make it so if a door is opened, like it will be able to tell when a door is opened, and when a door is opened, it will ask you like who's leaving, and when it asks you who's leaving, you can it will ask you if they have everything they need. Like when you make the list. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Sorry. You can make a list of stuff you want to remember before you leave the house, and that list will be like shared with all your family members. So when you're leaving the house, everyone will get a notification saying do they have everything they need, like their phone, their mask, their keys, their ID, driver's license, or whatever, and your family can help you remember to get what you need before you leave the house. And I think my 3 minutes are up.
You're right there. Yep. So you have one more slide if you want to tell us the last slide, and then we'll wrap up this presentation.
But the GP.
Yeah, actually you mentioned that. So yes, so no, you're good. So it's an experience, isn't it? Pitching in front of strangers. So you did good. Thanks for the submission. Judges, this is the project Safe from Home. Any questions? Any comments for Rahima?
Hi, Ravi. I do have a question for Rahima. Rahima, thank you for this presentation, and thank you for all the work you put in developing the app. You know, there are a number of other sort of home-based apps like ADT and Ring. I'm wondering if this app would be integrated with some of those existing tools that family members may already use currently, if that's possible.
Actually, I did put some thought into that, like especially Ring, because I was like thinking this app could probably be used with like Ring systems. Probably, like I would make this app compatible with those house monitoring systems already use.
Okay, thank you.
Add-ons to apps are a big thing. Every API in the market is looking for add-ons, so you're onto something. Judges, do we have any other questions or comments? Time starts now.
Okay, so let's fight COVID-19. This is just a starting page with names of members. Okay, so this is the first thing you see when you open the app, just the app logo. Let's fight COVID-19. I'll move to the next slide, please. Okay, so our vision for this app was actually to make a very, very simple app for anybody to access, regardless of your computer literacy and regardless of your age. You know, elderly citizens can also, you know, use the app. And we didn't want to streamline the app to do one thing like a COVID tracker. We wanted an all-in-one app that could literally do everything that you need to fight COVID-19. Okay, so starting from here, we have 6 rows, and the first row says hotspots near me. So each row is integrated in such a way that clicking each row takes you to a link, depending on whatever it is that you want or what information you're trying to acquire from the app. Okay, so clicking on hotspots near me, so clicking on hotspots near me takes you to this page right here. It shows you the nearest COVID-19 red danger zones or red zones, and it utilizes modern GPS technology to detect the possible, you know, areas of COVID-19 exposure. Testing sites near me. Can you click that? Okay, so this section of the app basically uses GPS technology. So users can just type in testing sites near me, and as you can see at the left photo, it shows different sites where you can actually go get tested. And the right section is when the user actually zooms in, they can see the nearest of all the listed testing sites. They can see the nearest and provides links, Google links, to actually view those locations on Google Maps and other navigation services. Next. Okay, this third section is the COVID symptoms check. Can you click on it? Oh, so this section is really self-explanatory. It provides it informs users about the possible symptoms of COVID-19. I'd like to pass it on to Sanchez.
For prevention tips, we wanted, oh, there you go. For preventions, we wanted to give the user the option to also check out supplies, as also to check out any additional information about preventing themselves from COVID-19. So upon clicking supplies, we wanted to show them in the same app that any links from Amazon or maybe Walmart that they're able to buy such as supplies like hand sanitizer or mask. Upon going back, if the user also wants to check out any additional information, we provided links for like YouTube, and especially for any elderly, if or any children who don't know or are not very good in technology, they're able to access everything in one single app to checking out information and purchasing any supplies.
All right, Raul, I want to give you a heads up. Your time is up, but if you want to eat into judges' time, you can continue.
Yeah, I would like to pass it on to Ishan. The last will like to pass it on to Ishan.
Okay, so for the updated news section, can you click it, Raul? Okay, so this will give you alerts on based on what possible exposure you had on a given date. As you can see over here, it says April 23rd or April 19th. It just depends. It's going to give you possible exposure sites and dates. In the FAQ section, on this page, you can put your own questions, or you can search, or you can look at other questions that users have already put in.
All right, thank you so much. So, judges, there is time for one question if we do have. We do want to be mindful. We're getting close to that 5 p.m. time. If you want to ask a quick question, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
when we started talking about this, we really wanted to focus on a person being in quarantine. What did they actually need from society that they can't get at that point in time? And we ended up deciding on 5 different things. We wanted to inform someone about COVID and what they need to know about the symptoms, about what the actual virus is, what it does to their body, and how to quarantine safely. In our app, we would like it to bring, when you click onto the question, it would bring you to a different page and all the information behind that. We really wanted to inform people and not create hysteria by being very logical and clear and concise of what this actual virus is. Then we also wanted to add a community aspect for people in quarantine, since they're not going to be able to see other people socially for a while. And you're able to track how long you're in quarantine and things like that, and be able to talk to others and give positive messages about life in general and keep things happy in such a bad time. We also decided to do a mental health aspect and helping people talk to mental health professionals while they're in quarantine. We really tried hard on fixing problems we saw earlier this year, once in April and May when this happened. And then we also wanted to help people figure out where they can get a test at, where there is medicine to pick up, if you could get people to help you out that way. We also wanted to include a tech analyzer. Basically, we want to connect with people's smartwatches and have them be able to track their temperatures and their heart rates and their overall physical well-being while being in quarantine, since you're not with a health provider. But hopefully with that data in the app, you could give it to your health provider through the help we have within the app. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My team did a really good job collaborating with us, and we had a lot of fun doing this.
Thanks so much, Emily. Judges, do we have any questions? And judges, I want to give you heads up and also request your flexibility. We will go over. Looks like 5:15 would be a good time to announce the winners and all. So I just want to request your patience with the process here. Thank you. Hira, whenever you're ready, take it away.
So it wouldn't let me share because I need to give Cisco permission, and it expects me to exit out. So I'll just do it without the presentation.
You're in an elevator with nothing but yourself. Go pitch.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe during this pandemic. My name is Hira Khan, and me and my teammate, Yusto Rivera, drew inspiration for the COVID Care Texas app from the record-breaking COVID cases across Texas. As all of you know, like last week, we surpassed about 1 million cases, and that was quite a reality check for us. So we decided to come up with an app that is user-friendly, and we made sure that we were using colors and buttons that were easily accessible to those people who are colorblind or have any sort of like disabilities whatsoever. And we restricted our market audience to Texas based on the need of the time. As you know, that Texas is one of the top states with the most number of COVID-19 cases. So we wanted to basically restrict it to Texas at the moment. So our purpose of creating the COVID Care Texas app was to streamline the quick distribution of COVID vaccine when it is released and prevent further rise in infection rates by providing an alternative to standing in lines. As you guys remember that when COVID first hit, it was so chaotic. People were fighting over toilet paper. So just imagine when this vaccine will be released, it would be, hell would break loose. So we wanted a solution to that, but at the same time, we didn't want people standing in lines and exposing themselves to the coronavirus. So I'm going to get into the details of our app. So it was created to reduce future COVID-19 infections and also to monitor vaccine inventory levels. We also wanted to partner with vendors and distributors. So like me and Yusto were talking, there are so many people who work for DoorDash and Uber Eats, and it is within a specific region. And so we were thinking, there's so many people who are out of jobs. So why not, maybe collaborate with Uber Eats and DoorDash, with companies like that would help us basically distribute the vaccine while, lowering the unemployment rate. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to create this app. Another reason was the responsible storage and distribution of our COVID-19 vaccine. So for judges who can see my presentation, we tried to have a couple of buttons stating where you could easily find a COVID care center. So you would just simply go in and put in your zip code, and it would tell you all the closest COVID care centers you could actually get the vaccine from. You could also schedule your vaccine. And let's say if you're one of those people who has disabilities or has any, car issues whatsoever, then they could actually schedule a remote, home visit. We also had a vendor management tab that would basically allow like vendors to reach out to us if they were interested in.
I'm gonna request you stop there. We've got the time is up.
Alrighty, so MyCovidPAL is intended to be a total health, all-in-one COVID health tracker. COVID-19 is stressful enough. So from having to figure out where to get tested to figuring out how long you should quarantine, we basically have everything you need from mental health tips to COVID trackers and a quarantine clock. The goal is to take the stress away by having everything you need right at your fingertips and allowing you to focus on staying safe. You'll learn where to get tested. You'll get the mental health tips. You'll stay up to date with the COVID activity in your area and possible interactions because we're all in this together. See here. Okay. The info that will be shared will be secured, stored securely in your phone, and it automatically deletes after 30 days. The MyCovidPAL, like I said, provides all of the resources that you need at your fingertips to keep you healthy. With the mental health aspect of it, you'll have a section where you can share your feelings, see how others are feeling for the day. We'll have daily check-ins, and you'll have self-care tips, resources, and it'll link you also to mental health experts in your area nearby if you would like to speak with someone. Also, the phone number for a mental health desk and a link to the Houston.gov coronavirus task force. The idea is that a lot of us, I think the mental aspect of it, and many of us have mentioned that, it's something that's vital, that's overlooked often. We're looking for the hot spots, we're staying safe, we're thinking about masks, but not many are actually speaking about our actual mental health, which I think mentally, if you're not together mentally, it kind of starts to affect your overall physical health as well. That leads me to physical health. It'll be tips on how to exercise within your home. We can share tips on different exercise routines, and then it'll also link you to monitoring your symptoms so you know how you're feeling or if it's time to be concerned. The COVID tracker will give an update on the statistics in your area, but also it'll track where you've been and who you've encountered for the past 2 weeks. You'll see if other users have reported symptoms or possible exposures, and you can notify other users if you feel that you may have been exposed. We'll also have an area to show you where to go get tested within your community by entering your zip code and showing you the different testing locations nearby. There's also a quarantine clock. If you need to take the steps of quarantine, it'll monitor the day you started, the time you started, it'll count down to give you the time that you have left, and then it notifies you when you finish quarantine if you need to refer back to that information as well. So thank you for viewing, and that's my spiel.
All right, so the background behind the idea, I've noticed that COVID-19 has impacted mental health of pretty much about every individual in the world, especially for younger generations. And I've also noticed that a lot of people, especially college students, fear being seen entering a therapist's office because they don't want to be judged, or it's just a general social anxiety. So the idea is to create an application where they can receive therapy without paying for it themselves or having to go in person. And the design is simple. A tabbed application for tabs. I haven't submitted the actual interface design because I drew it out by hand, sent it to my graphic designer about a week ago, and he's going to return it to me with all the necessary image assets and the logo to produce it, at least. The functions, pretty straightforward, just chat, internet calling, and scheduling. Competitive advantage. There are many therapist applications on the market, but there's none specifically for university students. Therefore, if the application service was sold to the universities, the students could receive it free of charge. Even though technically it's not free, it's most likely going to be included with their tuition, but nonetheless, they don't have to pay out of pocket. And that's pretty much it. Any
Okay,
Yes.
so in the chat I see we're ready to go. So Omar, thanks so much. We're gonna ask
Thank you.
all the judges to evaluate and complete the judging for all 8 entries. Again, all 8 entries. Go ahead and submit them. And folks, I'm going to take a quick break to make sure we get the tally, but I'm going to leave you with Samir for some feedback as we get the scores in. We're going to update the slides to make sure that in the next few minutes we're able to announce the top scorers for the Appathon. So Samir, take it away.
All right, Ravi. Thanks for all your hard work. No, it's been a long day. It's been quite a pretty awesome day. Like we said earlier, this is the first time we're doing something like this in collaboration with Ravi's group and our DIT COE. So I want to get some feedback from the students, and I know the faculty have been working really hard to put this together, the presentations, the Canvas shell, and everything. So it's a learning curve for everyone. I do want to take the time to see if we have some feedback. Problem is, though, I'm not a host, so I can't unmute people.
We can unmute.
Okay, I can't.
Can I ask a quick question? As I've judged them all, but then I'm looking at the one that we did not have the presenter for. Is there anything which the raise your hand, and I'm going through the presentation, which just the keynote, which looks amazing. I'm afraid some of the judges may not be able to see it though, as it's in Keynote if they don't have access to that. I just want to make sure people see it. There's some great ideas in that one as well. Or should we take that one out of the running? I just wasn't sure what to do.
If you would like to share the keynote, that would be great, Don. I'm not on an Apple machine right now, on a Mac.
Don, that would be great. As I'm on a Windows machine, you would be a saving grace if you could do that, because that was the one that I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I won't be able to present what right now. I don't have access for whatever weird reason.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if we couldn't see that one, because it was like one of my top rated ones. So
it's impressive.
So I had to open my Mac to see that.
All right, you guys see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Cool. I'll just click through it and leave the slides up. I was able to see it, so I wanted to make sure others could.
Thank you so much.
So this is really for judges who are still pending on this presentation. We're going through the slides. If you want to finish your rating, go ahead and we'll accept the submission.
Just leaving it up long enough for people to read it. The first few slides set it up.
I'm good over here.
All right, that's all of the slides in that one. I just wanted to make sure people could see what went into that.
All right, thank you so much for doing that, Don. I truly appreciate you looking out for the students. And I know with technology hiccups, and the student did put in the effort to put that presentation together, but I do see the students was not able to share, and pitch, and I actually don't see the student in the call as either. So I'm just going to give that heads up. I do want all the judges to go ahead and finish.
How you doing, Raul? Tell us about today and how it was and how we can improve on it.
Well, one thing about it, this is like the first time I got accepted or I got given this opportunity for the Appathon. One cool thing about it is I never used Discord ever before or Remo. So it was pretty cool trying out new things, and it was pretty cool like that other instructors were giving out other cool resources that we could use or recommendations. I thought that was pretty cool about it. And it was also pretty nice like talking to other people who are interested in this type of field. Share their ideas and their creativity. So I thought it was pretty cool what today was about.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Raul. I really appreciate that.
The only one thing I will say is that there were some, like someone said, technical hiccups. There were a couple issues on Cisco. For some reason, I couldn't join because I didn't know the password. So maybe in the future, for the next ones, for future students, have like the password or take off the password because I got to join a little bit later. Remo, also to let students know to create an account at least a little bit beforehand. I wasn't aware of that. Other than that, that was pretty good. I just wasn't aware of first creating an account first, then setting everything up. To do everything today. That was about it.
Well, good. Thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely take notes of that, and we'll improve. It's nice that we're able to do that, and like you said, the Revo tool. I've never seen it too, and I've used Discord quite a bit, and our gaming group uses Discord a lot too. So gaming and design, and by the way, I'll just mention, Raul, I know you said that was great for you to meet people, and this is what this is about. And I know earlier I mentioned we have a lot of student clubs. So if you want to do more of these kinds of events and be part of some unique workshops and collaborations, definitely check out our clubs. We have a lot of them. So I'd be happy to point you in whichever one, give you a list of all of them and the advisors to contact. Do we have any other students that would like to?
I will.
All right, Monica. Hey.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say this is my first Appathon, and it was exciting. 3 hours. I know we can't really go more than that, but it just wasn't enough. But it was intense. It was an intense 3 hours. So that's all.
All right, Samir, I'm gonna cut it a little short here. I need to get the. We've got the slides. We've reviewed all the scores, and the slides are up. So I'm gonna ask for some drum rolls when we announce. But we're gonna go backwards. We're gonna announce the cash prize: third place, second place, and first place. And the results are also going to be published on the Appathon DevPost website after the slides. So with that, let's get into the ceremony part. Again, I want to congratulate everybody who took the time to get build awareness about the problem that our global society faces. I want to thank you for taking action today and getting yourself some skills, playing with creativity, and using practical thinking to come up with solutions, and then putting it all together, building some soft skills, presenting to some judges. And I love the fact that some of you became team members with total strangers. They were not your friends that you knew. You just came together and you worked together and you solved problems completely virtually. Everybody is at their homes, away from one another here. So I want to give everybody a kudos for doing that today. And without any further ado, I'm going to announce the third place that was rated by all the judges. There was CovSOL. So congratulations, team, for ranking number 3. Thanks for that. And second place is going to be Let's Fight COVID-19. Congratulations to that team. And first place, getting the most scores from the judges, COVID Tracker App by Eric. Congratulations, Eric. The winners are now published on the COVID website. The scores and everything is also made available, so you could see exactly how the judges had rated, and you are more than welcome to continue this journey forward. Houston Community College, we have tremendous opportunities for students, so we want to thank you. We hope that you continue working, taking part in hackathons and competitions at the college. I want to also thank our judges. Thank you so much for volunteering your time and making this available. Sean, you want to say some last ending words here?
Absolutely. I just want to thank everybody for participating. All the students, stay healthy and safe during this time. Keep the creativity and the energy up. And if you have any questions about more of our programs, please visit us at our hccs.edu/digital. Thank you to our judges. Thank you to our technology partners. And most of all, thank you to our instructional leaders from DIT. And Robbie, thank you so much for everything you've done.